Batteries fully charged. Launch ready for AEW Spark in 3, 2, 1. All Elite Wrestling discussion is live. Cue host Noah Foster.
Once again, let's see who rose to the occasion on AEW Dark Elevation. We'll shine some light on some talent on Dark. We will see what transpired and what was ignited on Dynamite. And the rage continues to ensue on Rampage as we come to you post AEW Revolution, where once again it was truly televised too. This and so much more ahead as we once again light the fuse and reignite the discussion on all things All Elite Wrestling right here on AEW Spark, post AEW Revolution. Hello once again, everybody. Welcome once again to WTW Productions. You know what this is, for I am the simple man of the simple brand. My name is Noah Foster, and with me, of course, is my color cohort in all things All Elite, James Hebert, and you can check out our live watch-along coverage on the Casa D18 Studios channel. James, here we are, once again, Monday night, discussing the last week of AEW, and technically that was everything that went up to the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
but
man.
We'll also, folks, got a little surprise for you that we're going to tease for later. But that's later. For now, James, how are you? As my voice is still recovering.
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good. I'll be honest, bro. I'm going absolutely crazy with how great this show was. Hello, Raymond. Welcome to the chat. Raymond Williams in the chat with us. If you want to promote this to a bunch of you people, Raymond, feel free, because I haven't had a chance to do so, but. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to talking about AEW. You'll notice that we're live. I think that's just kind of the route we're going to go for going forward. We're going to be live with everything. I tried to do the live to tape. The only issue is like people don't realize that we did an AEW Spark, so... Oh, jeez.
I mean, again, when I first started this program, I was just doing a simple non-live hobby. You're trying to engage an audience, and I respect that. As again, why not, change things up? So again, I encourage you to definitely try that, and we'll see what conversation could ensue and what viewership could come to. But at the end of the day, as long as we keep up the discussion, the positivity for all things All Elite Wrestling, that's what matters. So good on you. I approve. And hey, this could make things even more fun, maybe even longer too. But with that being said, without further ado, considering we are finally trying to cool down from an all-time high ever of a wrestling pay-per-view, let's get right into a discuss everything that happened beforehand as we talk about first AEW Dark Elevation. And this, of course, will be the edition from February 27th. Once again, I want to honor those that I got my notes from. The various sources include, but not limited to, WrestleZone, Wrestling Headlines, Fightful, and Body Slam. Thank you. And again, we're going to try something a little different, folks, considering how late it is and also the voice and work and stuff like that. We maybe won't go so much in depth on everything, especially because you can go back and watch the watch-alongs we did for both Dynamite and Rampage. But we'll see what happens here. Yeah. And again, we got a little bit of surprise. We'll hype up for you towards the end of the show, too.
Yeah, so what we can, I'll actually just say this. So we're going to review AEW Dark Elevation, and Saturday Dark in Full, more than likely. However, as far as Dynamite and Rampage, we're going to give brief thoughts. If you want to know our full thoughts in real time, two places you want to check out. Right here, go to AEW Dynamite Watch Party for AEW's Go Home Show for Revolution. Also the same for Rampage, right here on the top of the iCard. This will be on demand. I will also put it in the chat while Noah breaks down the first match. So be on the lookout for that, and then we'll go from there. So, yeah, if you want to know our full thoughts, stay here for our thoughts on Dark and Dark Elevation and all that stuff. But as far as what our thoughts on Rampage and Dynamite were in depth, check it out over here. So there you go.
All right, fair enough, man. Good job, producer man. So let's go ahead and get right into it. AEW Dark Elevation emanating from the Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona on February 27th. Their Phoenix debut. Commentary, of course, led by what's becoming the Elevation duo of Paul White and Daddy Magic Matt Menard with Dasha Gonzalez for the ring announcement. Our first match featured the Killer Queen, and yes, that is a Queen's reference, but now she's got the laugh of Peach from the Mario universe, which I enjoy. A very sinister royalty, if you will. Emi Sakura took on Rochelle Rivetta. And in the early going, there was a car double tie-up. Sakura, at this point, she was just fooling around with her, controlling the field, mind games galore. Until Rivera went face first into the top turnbuckle, and then things got a bit serious, especially after she avoided the Vader bomb and followed up with a running forearm smash. And got some good offense in here. European uppercut, had short fury, and then draping DDT for a 2 count. Good for her. Then she goes for the cutter, but then Sakura's like, that's enough. Twisting flatliner, and then, of course, talking smack to the crowd because she's a heel. You guys might respect her. All hail. Of a different sort. But she's like, nah, I'm about me. Whatever. I'm above you. As she followed up with a running crossbody block in the corner, because again, after we will chop you, we then get a mean body slam and a moonsault for the win. Not the standing vertical delayed backbreaker that I've noticed that she doesn't use as much since one Billy Starks was able to survive it. She's been following up lately with the moonsault. Again, good contest though. Nice showing by Rivetta, and Miss Sakura keeps rolling.
Yeah, man. Emi Sakura, I mean, out of all the people that Nyla Rose has teamed up with, I like her the best. Although Diamante this week was really good also, but we'll get to that. Really enjoyed this match. Just seeing Emi Sakura, I think she's a good hand for the division. I think she's an underrated coach as far as the in-ring aspect of what the women need. If anybody can train women, I think definitely got to consider that Emi Sakura is definitely one of those people that can train. So I think she's a great fit for the women's division, and good showing here for her. That's really it.
Yep. As we move on from there, thy kingdom come. Good Lord, Maria. Maria Canales Bennett accompanied, of course, OGK, Matt Taven, the trend, and of course, the Miracle, Mike Bennett, just in general. And they took on the duo.
I haven't heard him called that in freaking forever, Jesus.
I remember, and I believe in Joe Henry much more than I believe in the Miracle back then, but that's a whole different story. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they took on the team of, apologies if I screw up the names, Agula Agria and EJ Sparks. And this was good 10 tag team action, particularly by OGK. Taven with the early goal, remind you who he was. Reverses out of Irish Whip, though, as Sparks was able to come back. And I will say this, it was nice to see the Code of Honor adhere to, again, Code of Honor, because I believe, if I remember correctly, this might have been from the Ring of Honor. No, it wasn't. I was in the arena, excuse me. But I know we'll talk more about that later towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
Anyway, as Taylor was working over Sparks in the early going, applying the side headlock, and then we get an atomic drop. Sparks trying to fight back. Quick tag to Mike Bennett. Mike Bennett with the rolling elbow and takes a bow. Really appreciates the work that he's been doing. And then following that, quick tags by the Kingdom, in and out, good cohesion here, kick straight in the face, and then a rolling elbow strike, and then a missile drop kick as Matt Taven reminds you who he is, talking smack. And then a short arm reversal by Sparks finally gets some offense in with a roundhouse kick, tags in his partner, and then we get a back body drop low by Taven as the Kingdom continue to keep control in this match, even if they had a couple of hitches here, and there was a couple. Later on, after a single leg drop kick and a straight right hand, Bennett was whipped across the ring, and then Taven tags himself in. Blind tag, falls up with a springboard enziguri, knocks the opposition off the apron, running forearm smash, then the corner splash, and then they follow up with a Death Valley driver as Taven connects with just the tip. The ready knee strike to pick up the win. There was no proton pack here. It was a combination of moves. But thy kingdom come, thy kingdom victorious.
Yeah, man, it was a good match. Good showing for the Kingdom. I always like seeing the Kingdom. I think as a unit, they're really good. But so where do we go with the Kingdom, though? Because obviously they had their little stint on AEW programming. Do they go back to Ring of Honor now? That's the real question I would like answered now, because you got Mike Bennett, Matt Taven, who originally were Honor No More, and now they're not Honor No More. The Honor's kind of with AEW, so do you go back there? What happens there? Who knows?
Well, again, as we'll talk about, I'm sure at some point on some platform here or on my simple brand, you know what, the hell of it. Folks, stay tuned. I'm going to try a soft launch of something I'm going to call the Honor Club, where I'll be bringing you live play-by-play retakes on the new era of Ring of Honor. The first episode will be a 2-episode take, though, because there's just not enough time. As again, the new era of Honor also started this same week. We discussed AEW. So I think you might get a clearer answer once you start watching the Ring of Honor taping. Incredible stuff, by the way. Only available on Honor Club via the Ring of Honor's website and Honor Club membership for $9.99 plus tax. But again, some tangent.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, again, the Kingdom continues to show cohesion, and Maria, she completes the whole picture. That's all I got to say about that.
I agree wholeheartedly. Before we continue, though, we have a couple comments I just want to address. We got Raymond Williams with he does want to know, and I feel like we could probably discuss this here, so this is fine to ask. What did you think about the MJF post-media scrum? That's a question from Raymond Williams in the chat. Dwayne Atkinson also said, "Hello, my friends. Hope you're all well." Hello, Dwayne. How you doing, bro?
I'm still talking, so I'm okay enough.
Yeah, right.
Easy with Gatorade this time.
There you go. My thoughts on the promo that MJF cut. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was so good. It reminds you of All Out. It teases a possible comeback of a certain person, Phil Brooks, and yeah, just the way he just is able to just cut a scathing promo, be factual. He basically said what a lot of other people were saying before, and I said this on Jeff Meacham Network. I was watching it live as it was happening because I needed to know what he said afterwards. I said MJF said exactly what we're all thinking. He's the best wrestler in the world. Nobody should question that anymore. Enough already. Like, it's just, you cannot deny it anymore. He is the total package. He is the best in the world from a complete package standpoint. Dude, and we'll talk about this more on our Revolution review in depth, but which we'll hype up later in the show. You cannot tell me that this guy is not the best in the world when he can have the psychology of Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat with Danielson. Mix that with the work rate of Okada and Omega. And tell the story in an old school way, like old school WWF. When they were good.
Not to mention his technical capabilities, the likes of Dean Malenko, Bryan Danielson, and even a trademarks of Lord William Regal.
If you have been a fan of professional wrestling for any length of time, MJF and Bryan Danielson gave you literally something for every facet of wrestling history in one match, in 1 hour plus. MJF's right. He's right on the money. He's the best wrestler in the world. Who the hell is going to touch that? Dude, I honestly don't know if there's going to be another wrestler in the next decade that could touch what he did with Danielson. Including himself, by the way. That's the scary part. This might be his greatest piece of work he'll ever do in his career. I know that sounds crazy. And I'm sure he'll prove me wrong, and I hope he does, because I like actually getting proven wrong with this fucking takes. But if you want to know my thoughts, I think MJF is right on the money. He proved his worth last night. He really did. He was phenomenal.
Bar none.
Noah, your thoughts on MJF's media scrum promo, which I told you was fucking outstanding.
I mean, I guess he likes pickles. Who knew? I don't know if those pickles were from the California area. But that being said, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. All this talk, all this comparison, all this criticism, all this underselling, all this overshadowing. MJF proved everybody wrong, and anybody that still thinks they have a rebuttal, he told them to go jump off a cliff, you flat earther. So, I mean, at this point, MJF, he is untouchable. He is practically unstoppable. He is absolutely phenomenal in his own way and class. He proved that at AEW Revolution when we talk about Revolution Relay towards the end of the show and what more is to come following that. For me, it was pure, realistic, honest shoot capacity, but also because he blurs the line between cadence so much, he was speaking from the heart. You think about how much pride this man puts on himself to be the best, to be the champion. By any means necessary. Doesn't matter. There's no asterisks in the record book. He beat Bryan Danielson in a 60-man plus Ironman match that went into sudden death. Spoiler alert, by the way, folks. Sorry, not sorry. So, that being said, it was a tremendous. I watched the entire Medium Scrum earlier this morning as nothing happened during work. So, yeah, that's my simple take on that. MJF, he told everybody, if you still doubt me or judge me, you don't deserve to call yourself any sort of analyst, journalist, or spectator or fan of the industry. Because I truly am better than you. And by now, you should know it, if you didn't already.
Yeah, and another thing that also I should point out that I don't know if he actually mentioned this in this promo, which I'm sure he didn't, but the oxygen tank, which helped him win. Did it help him win? I even mentioned that. It's Danielson wouldn't have quit. He hesitated on tapping, and you could see he hesitated on tapping. He only tapped, not because of the oxygen tank, not because he was going to pass out, because he could have fought through that pain. He tapped out because he didn't want to risk being crippled for the rest of his life, and he thought about being a father first, which is the whole thing that they built up throughout the show, right? Throughout the weeks of Dynamite, we covered it on AEW Spark. I think that Max did phenomenal in that regard, because if the roles were reversed, Brian would have done the same fucking thing. And we know
at the end of the day, priorities for passions.
You know?
Priorities for passions. There's not a bigger priority in someone's life than a family.
So I still think MJF has a kayfabe or outside of it, best wrestler in the world. Nobody can touch him. And there's great wrestlers out there. Nobody can touch what he did at that Iron Man match. And I don't think he can even touch what he did. That's how phenomenal that was. But again, we'll talk about that in due time. But yeah, in short, Raymond, loved the promo. Promo was awesome.
Chef's kiss. Simple as that.
Yeah.
All right. As we return, and thank you for that, Raymond. And again, please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, hit the thumbs up. We love to engage with all of you. We love to hear more of your thoughts, questions, and we could even cover them maybe on future AW Sparks too. We've been looking to see if anyone has been in the comment section, so we hope that these live chats will actually bring more discussion going forward. Let's go ahead and continue our way down to Elevation as we had 6-woman tag team action as Nyla Rose, Rhea Shafir, and Diamante with Vicky Guerrero took on Maserati, Miss May, and Brittany Brooks in 6-woman tag team match. Again, you talked about the dynamics of Nyla Rose and Emi Sakura. You talked about the overall most dynamic trios in women, Nyla Rose, Emi Sakura, Diamante. Here you got Nyla Rose, Diamante, Marina Shafir. Shafir in the early going, she kicked Brooks in the back after a double tie-up. And it was Shafir and Brooks, by the way, starting things off here. And she dragged her into the corner after a couple of some body shots. Yeesh.
Yeah.
Look for Shafir. I just wonder who won a body shot contest, because that would be something interesting. Anyway, Shafir tags in Diamante. We get a wrist lock and the arm clothesline. Again, Diamante, do not underestimate Diamante with how long she's been in the damn game despite her height. That's all I got to say about that. Brooks hits Diamante, though, in the gut. Finally, though, gets caught off guard with a release German suplex. And Diamante clears everybody out, including everyone in the opposition. Goes to the top turnbuckle, and then Diamante slams Brooke, and we get a tag. Nyla Rose with a body block. Good Lord almighty. That's a lot of weight coming down on you. And then whips her across the ring. And then we get a tilt-to-wear power slam as Maserati comes into play. Maserati being the strongest member of the team. Opposition, just saying. Body avalanche, though, by Maserati finally put momentum into her side's favor as she brings Brooks back in. May runs in, May's like, I'm out, though. I'm out. May's like, I don't care if you all got a hot moment here. I'm not dealing with this. I'm out. So she left her partners high and dry. So I'm sure that's going to have some fun on their independent promotion because clearly we know there's some storyline there. And anyway, Nyla Rose, Chosa Maserati, tags Shafir, and Shafir connects with the assisted DDT that has become lately Nyla Rose, Rhea Shafir's finisher. And 2-3, they get the win. They pick up the victory. So, yeah, there's one person that was really smart in this match and got the hell out of Dodge, which he needed to. And Maserati, she certainly tried, but it's pretty hard to overcome an opposition led by Nyla Rose.
Yeah, I mean, again, it just comes down to Marina Shafir looked like she was the awkward turtle in this matchup. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. We know it doesn't work. It's just time to stop trying and move on. I think you got a better team up here.
Yeah, at this point, it's just...
I think you got a better team up with Emi Sakura, Diamante, and Nyla Rose. I think having that the diversity in their cultures, also having the same common goal, that's a really interesting trio there. And I think Marina Shafir is just such an odd fit. If you want to keep her in there as like maybe a bodyguard or something, even though they really don't need it, because look at Nyla. But, fine.
Bodyguard for Nyla Rose, can you really do that in the same sense?
Right. Fine, I guess. But it's, man, this Marina Shafir experience ain't working.
At this point, it just seems like Marina Shafir and Nyla Rose are just comfortable with what they're doing, or at least one of them are. And I feel like this. Mark Henry had Tony Atlas going in with him to WrestleMania 25 in a ladder match. I don't think Nyla Rose needs somebody like that in her corner to just be some sort of hype person or manager. Not to mention right now, they still have Vicky Guerrero for what's that worth. And again, she brings a lot of knowledge and a lot of managerial ship to her beasts of burden, as I'm sure they're still called. But again, I do wonder eventually, will there be an implosion between Marina Shafir and Nyla Rose, and who will instigate it? Right. Is there a problem here? I'm just saying. As we move on from there, Powerhouse Hobbs was in action, taking on Daniel Evans. And, okay, good lord. Evans, though, tries with a couple of forearm shivers after a shotgun drop kick. After Hobbs was giving him a chance. Just leave, okay? Just leave. You've witnessed my power. I put you in the corner. Just leave. Nope, wasn't going to do that, so I admire the man's heart. Anyway, Hobbs talking smack, lays him out flat across the top turnbuckle, clubbing blows. You thought he was trying to hammer a spike in the railroad tracks or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then Hobbs was like, I'm having enough of this. He whips him across the ring, hits the spine buster, and the burning hammer. There's your 1, 2, 3. Hey, Evans, was it worth sticking around even was for a few minutes? You just became another footnote in the Book of Hobbs. The next chapter is still to be written.
Hey, I'm just saying, man. Book of Hobbs, Authors of Pain. That should be the thing. This was
that Paul didn't mean.
Yeah, man, this was a full-on squash. I mean, really. This was just a full-on squash match. This guy got absolutely owned. It was good.
Well, I mean, sometimes you just need that, Sometimes you just want to see somebody get broken in half. And also it proves how dominant someone can be, especially when someone dominant is also effective in the ring. Learn something out of company. Anyway, I didn't say anything. Anyway, as we move on from there, trios action now with All Ego Ethan Page, Matt Hardy, and Isaiah Cassidy. The Hardy Party with Stokely Hathaway took on the trio of Ice Williams, Braxton, and Watson. And again, when I look at this dynamic of the firm, let's just call it what it is. They are still the firm, fully managed by Stokely Hathaway. We are seeing better cohesion.
I'll be right back. Keep going.
Well, you're fine. Isaiah Cassidy, Matt Hardy, and All Ego Ethan Page, particularly Matt Hardy and All Ego Ethan Page. But Cassidy, he's the guy right now that I feel is being best shown and needs to be, being the youngest promise out of this entire firm picture. In the early going, we get a side headlock. He definitely has the energy and charisma to a degree, too. Whips across the ring, then leapfrog over Cassidy. Williams does. Cassidy, though, falls out with 2 arm drags, blocks a boot, and then we get a nice net breaker as Hardy comes in. Love the fact he still comes out to lift loaded, by the way. Double Irish whip, and Williams comes back with a straight right hand. Drives Hardy into the turnbuckles, tags in Braxton. Braxton comes in with a flying forearm smash, and right now the opposition is just whirling away at Matt Hardy in the corner. Tag team specialist. How about that? As Matt Hardy comes back, though, he finally starts his 3 phases of deletion. and then catapults Braxton first into the middle rope, and then Taz and Oligo Ethan Page. What about that? As we move on from there, Oligo Ethan Page showed off his ego and showed off his anger. There's a flying sledge at one point, and then a rake of the eyes. I guess, at this point, this firm trio's kind of face because the opposite side played more dirty. What a weird universe we live in. And it's not broken. Yet. Anyway, and up Watson uppercuts Ethan, but Ethan reverses out from an Irish whip and then drops him with a big boot, and then we get a power slam for a 2 count. Then we get both men doing stereo side effects. That's something. Matt Hardy still does it better. As Ethan continues forward, we get Body Avalanche tagging to Matt Hardy, who hits the corner clothesline. Then Isaiah Cassidy follows up with assisted corner splash. And then we get an Iconoclasm assist, while Matt Hardy completes the win with a Twist of Fate. So again, right now, Ethan, Matt Hardy, they're on the same page. Isaiah continues to grow and learn under Matt Hardy. Mark Juan get well soon. I do wonder, though, will things become broken? Is psychological warfare still in play here? And at this point, is Stokely completely tired of this trio too?
I think, you know what the thing is? It's funny because I think they're all sick of Stokely. I think that's the story they're telling now. I think even Ethan's sick of this fucker. And it's starting to show. It's almost like that's like actually showing like he's being nice despite how Ethan's treated him like shit. And then you have freaking Isaiah's even starting to like warm up to Ethan, right? And so like, and then I think I think in Dark this week, freaking same thing happened with Lee Moriarty. He started like he loved the Hardy Party thing, and he's like doing the thing, and then he's starting to get annoyed.
Yeah, doing his weird ukulele playing.
Yeah, so I think I don't know, man. I think it really just comes down to I think Stokely is gonna get dropped. Put it that way. I think it's turning. I think it's turning in the favor of Matt Hardy, and they might just side with Matt. To be fair, I think that's where we're going here. But yeah, time will tell.
Fair enough. Again, at this point, we're just waiting for somebody to drop Stokely, and based on what we'll talk about soon, I think we know who that somebody will be. But we'll talk more about that later. As we move on from here, man, is she really coming to her own and owns that what she is. Athena took on former NXT superstar, if y'all remember that correctly, Daniel Camella, in a Ring of Honor Women's World Championship eliminator match. Here they go, and she literally shoved her before the bell rang. Go figure. But Carmella, she's got a bit of an attitude herself. Not that matter, because she got rocked with a forearm smash. As Athena just having fun, posing to the crowd. And then we get the ground and pound, and literally tugs her by her hair, not giving a damn about her well-being. Shoulder first to the still ring posts, and then a mean knee strike as she drops kicker off the ring apron. Athena again, literally allowing Carmella not even to breathe in the ring with her. And then Athena yanks Carmella off the steel ring steps. Ouch, nasty impact. Goes for a running knee strike, but finally gets some offense. Carmella does a running clothesline and rolls Athena back inside the ring, looking to follow up. She ducks clothesline again from Athena, hits her with 2 diving clotheslines and a nice somersault net breaker, followed up by a cravat face crusher for a 2 count. And then Athena was pissed off as she knocks her off the top turnbuckle, got a corner meteora out of it, and then hit her old face to pick up the win, and then drove, of course, her face into her Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. So I will say this: Daniel Camella had a moment of hope, and then Athena's like, "You're playing with me, bitch. I'm done with this."
All right.
Damn.
Yeah, it was different. it was a different matchup for sure. I enjoyed it though.
Again, Athena, she continues to show how confident she's come back into her old self, if not even more than ever, come into her own. And she shows how dominant she is, but also how adaptive she is. And, I mean, yeah, the opposition got a little bit in, and then that got immediately snuffed out. I mean, in the very beginning, she didn't even forearm smash her. She just shoved her, and pretty much we were just waiting for the moment when she was going to drop her and take her lights out. And it did happen. It was all right for what was worth it. You know, the usual Athena antics, and you wonder how her opponent reacts to it. Slightly different. The opponent had a bit of attitude. It was not nearly enough. Got her adjustment.
Yeah, exactly.
As we move on from there, I believe it was time for the main event as the Japanese sensation himself, Kinoshita Takeshita, took on I like the fact he's finally being showcased here again after such a long period of time. Took a big shot. Big Shy Lee Johnson with Cole Connor's corner. By the way, they don't even say they're part of the factory, so what does that tell you? Oh,
Yeah,
by the way, QTV coming soon.
Yeah, so what's going on? Is the factory just done? Is that it?
I have no idea.
Because I did see some news somewhere that apparently a faction quietly disbands. I don't know. I didn't actually look it up because I just haven't had the time. But I'd imagine it would be the factory if there's anybody. Because I remember Zach Clayton doesn't have factory graphics anymore. Lee Johnson doesn't have them. I haven't seen Anthony Ogogo or what's his face, the other big guy.
Nick Camarado
in a minute. So, like, none of them are there. So maybe they just quietly disbanded? I don't know.
Well, again, QTV. I mean, maybe it's a whole different repackaging. I don't know. And quality TV, folks, coming soon if you look at the little headline. Gee, quality. I wonder who that could be. That being said, this was a really good match, though. We finally got to see the big shoddy lead, the Lee Johnson that wowed us during the pandemic in AEW Dark in full fruition here against Konosuke Takeshita. Early call and able to tie up as he was pushing the turnbuckles. And I will say this, still there's some subtle dirty tactics because Carter did try to come into play on the distraction side of things and gave him a couple moments of advantage. In the early going, though, waistlock go behind, and then Takeshita gets dropped with a back elbow smash, and then we get a straight right hand. Lee Johnson bringing his best strong style here until Takeshita ducks underneath two clotheslines and then takes him out with that crazy flight of a leaping clothesline and then looks for the Blue Thunder Bomb, but instead he eats 3 shots straight to the face, and then we go for a back-to-back suplex spot, but Johnson lands on his feet and then basically shoves Takeshita towards the referee. No contact though. As he drops kicks him and then punches Takeshita. A ground and pound, constant striking offense by Johnson against Takeshita. Not a bad strategy. As Johnson continued moving forward with the stomps now on the chest, he was literally choking him with his boot at one point. Of course, he has the 5 count. Takeshita, of course, though, he does fight back, especially after Johnson got a little bit overconfident in himself. Carried her aside doing push-ups in the center of the ring. Who you think you are, Jack Swagger? As he applies a rich shin lock, and then Takeshita follows up with some forearm shivers until he knocks the wind off him by a kick to the gut. But then Takeshita shows us how agile he is, skins the cat, and then a nice inside-out lariat. Good God, the explosive power of Takeshita. I love every time I see it.
Love it. It's so good.
It's crazy. As Johnson is now on the outside of the ring, we get a somersault plancha, and then Takeshita brings him back inside with 2 haluva kicks, and then follows up again, but Johnson rolls Takeshita over for a 2 count after sidestepping. And then we finally get a Blue Thunder Bomb for a near fall. As he looks for the jumping flash knee strike, his version of a V-trigger, Johnson was able, though, to super kick Takeshita on the way in, but then Takeshita with a rising knee strike. As Johnson dodges a rolling elbow following that, there was a misfired clothesline to one Cole Carter. Takeshita follows up with that knee lift and then hits that V-trigger, finally, to get the win. Very game main event bout here against Lee Johnson for Konosuke Takeshita.
Really good stuff from both guys, man. That was a really good match to cap off Dark. Definitely would love to see more Lee Johnson. I think he's got so much upside as far as, being a guy. I think him and Captain Sean Dean would be a great team to have again. Again, definitely for the Ring of Honor brand. Definitely bring them there. I think they could do some really good stuff there. But yeah, all in all, really good matchup between Takeshita and him. And I'm curious on where they go next with Takeshita. I think every time we see him, he just impresses us. And yeah, not much else to say on Takeshita.
But again, well, not yet, but when it really matters, I feel like we might have a little bit more of a different idea when it comes to our confidence in him, what we want for him, and do we see maybe the right direction going for him, but we'll talk more about that later.
Right.
As we move into Tuesday nights, AEW Dark, and it was another stacked show. Tony Khan, your madman. On February 28th from Universal Studios, we kick things off with Action Andretti taking on the former Ring of Honor television champion, Tony Deppen. And this was quite a bit more than I expected from, I didn't know how well Action Andretti and Tony Deppen could actually, work together. But similar styles, despite Tony Deppen being a bit of a unorthodox. In the early going, Deppen really, added to the side. We get a waistlock exchange, snapmare takeover, and then Pie faces again. And then there's a kick to Andretti. And Deppen has the early going here as he avoids a little drop kick and then the PK. These guys were basically countering each other in the early going, and then we were looking for a roundhouse kick, but still misses as Andretti rolled Deppen up at one point for a 2 count. Andretti, though, pops back up on his feet after drop kicking Deppen after avoiding a roundhouse kick. And then Andretti, he grabs him with a side headlock, but Deppen's like, get off me. Launches him over the top rope. Deppen body slams Andretti onto the floor. Following that, finally takes him off his feet for a moment. As he slaps Andretti in the chest and brings him back inside the ring as this match continues, and we got some more back and forth. Inverted the Manhattan drop, folks. That's what it's actually called. As Andretti takes the base out from Deppen, hits him with a sliding drop kick, and then a springboard tornillo for a 2 count. Still not enough. Some wicked chops, and then Deppen follows up with an elbow knockdown for a 2 count. Applies a front face lock. Again, former champion, a little bit technical aside as well. Gut punch again, working the midsection. Andretti, though, 2 chops, reverses out of an Irish whip, some back and forth again. As we move on, he drives his knee into the midsection, knocking the wind out of action. Andretti looking to cut this thing short. As we then get a jawbreaker, and Andretti falls up with the shoulder block, and then takes Deppen up and over. Flying forearm smash, clothesline, back net breaker combination by Andretti. This was just back and forth from the get-go. This is our opening bout. I can't believe how far this freaking thing went. And they still didn't kick into higher gear.
Right.
Until he tried to go for the springboard 450, until Deppen was able to be aware of it. And then Action Andretti follows up with a super kick that drops him for a 2 count. As Andretti looks to finally hit the big move, the split leg moonsault, Deppen avoids it, and then we get a rising knee strike followed by roundhouse kick. Jesus Christ. And then we get slingshot cold breaker by Deppen, 2 count only. As this match continued moving forward, Deppen was getting a little bit annoyed here. He looked for a plex at one point, but instead gets slapped. We get running forward smash, then we get a superplex counter, and then Deppen, he goes dirty, starts biting Andretti's forehead. This just shows how frustrated he is and how much he was just unhinging, unwinding. And then headbutts him. Falls up with a Pele kick, but Andretti falls up with a springboard superplex. And then we get a Falcon Arrow for a 2 count only. As this thing kept going forward, they're just clubbing into each other. Friggin' mid kicks, friggin' knee lift, spinning back fist, a knee lift, and then Andretti with a friggin' step up enziguri. As Deppen rakes the eyes, finally trying to slow him down. Andretti answers back with a back elbow smash, and then we finally get double springboard to Nilo. As it looked like he was going for the final shot, Andretti finally comes in with a running shooting star press and puts down Deppen for the friggin' hard-fought win.
Yeah, this was a great freaking match. Tony Deppen, man, well done, bravo, sir. Like, that was a really good matchup. I was really shocked because, I knew Tony Deppen was good. I just didn't know how good he was until this match. There's a reason, folks, he was on Ring of Honor television recently. You're looking at the reason why. This match definitely is going to bring him in the future down the road into TK Promotions. And I'm really looking forward to what I see from him coming forward. Really good stuff here from Tony Deppen. And we know how good Action Andretti is, but this Tony Deppen guy, he got something. He got something.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of somethings with him, but does he have enough to once again become Ring of Honor television champion? Only time will tell. He's already pulled out his Punk card, so we'll see. Speaking of people that's been impressing us, it seems that someone has been impressing us more lately out of name of respect and honor of his own, more so for his group, Dark Order. As Evil Uno was in singles action here against Jay Spade. Konovater adhered to in the beginning, and then Con elbow tie-up, and then a wrist lock exchange. Uno with a side headlock takeover, though, for a 2 count. As Spade and Uno were basically going back and forth, shoulder block exchange. Uno dropped Spade with a mid-direction shoulder tackle, and then we get a Manhattan drop by Evil Uno, who follows up with a leaping net breaker, and then unloads with some knife-edge chops and a forearm smash, and these two are just lining up each other like a Christmas tree. But then a wicked right shot, right hook, whatever the hell you want to call it, dropped him where he stood as Uno followed up, whipping him across the ring, and then a pendulum backbreaker, and then a senton splash, and then kicks Spade straight in the face. A new aggressive side have definitely come out of Evil Uno since that Jon Moxley match, to say the least. It's almost like it was like the motivation he needed to really kickstart his career for himself. I don't know, maybe there's more than meets the eye with that, though. We follow up from there with another blistering chop, sends him into the corner, and then hits him with a back elbow smash, kicks him in the face again, drops him with a big boot, but only gets a 2 count. Follows up, Spade, though, fights back, dives over Uno and drops kicks Uno, and then Uno avoids a diving crossbody block with a corner clothesline and a lariat, and then hits something Evo, and Evo Uno picks up the win. I gotta admit, Evo Uno right now, since the match with Jon Moxley, he's definitely, I feel like, restored respect.
I have to take this, but just keep going because there's not much I can do here. But try to whatever you're talking about, just put a note on it, and I'll give my thoughts right after.
I mean, all I'm doing is just talking about Dark, but yeah, I got you. Anyway, yeah, Evil Uno, again, since that match with Jon Moxley, we've seen a more hungry, motivated, aggressive side with him as a singles versus just an accompaniment, where we've only been seeing lately focus on the Dark Order with John Cena and Alex Reynolds. And I think it's a very pleasant development. As we move on from there, speaking of developments, this guy still has a way to go. Parker Boudreaux took on Joe Ocasio, and I'm not sure how to even determine Parker Boudreaux at this point. Early going, Carnival tie-up. He sends him face first into the canvas, then rams his forearm across his face, body shot exchange, and then dribbles him on the mat like a basketball. Ocasio, I think that's how it's said, kicks him right in the face, and then we get a drop toe hold onto the ropes, and then some body shots, but Boudreaux, he shoves Ocasio away, but then Ocasio follows up with a rising knee strike, and then goes for snake eyes, but that gets countered, and then Boudreaux with a leaping boot, and he was basically choking the man out, but Ocasio trying to fight back still. He avoids the running splash, then hits him with the torpedo headbutt. Go catch you guys. As Boudreaux sends Ocasio face first again, this time into the middle turnbuckle. Boudreaux with the corner splash, and then connects with the belly-to-back suplex slam for the win. Again, this guy, he's got that girth, that look of a mean, aggressive, big man brawler, but he's not very, what's the word I'm looking for? Precise, clean, well executed in the ring. And yeah, I know it's a development, but the reason I say this now, this match protected him more.
Yes, it did. I'm glad you brought that up because in the Rampage match he had this week, complete opposite. So we'll get to that because we definitely have to talk about that even though we saw it live. But this was a way better match and it protected him way better. You could tell he's green, but at least he did stuff that he knew how to do. And then was there any other matches, or were we just on this match?
We just talked about the Evil Uno one before. And like I said, Evil Uno, since the Jon Moxley match, we've seen a much more progression in his development.
Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on it. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I noticed the same thing. But I'm gonna go off camera for a bit. You just keep running it down.
Oh, you're good. As we move on from there, folks, we're going to keep going down dark with Captain on deck, Sean Dean taking on Victus Cash. Nice to see the Captain back here. Again, early on going exchange, call double, a tie-up. Cash whips Dean across the ring and then drops with the shoulder tackle. Both these men looking for leverage as Cash drops down to the canvas and then hits him with a side headlock and then sends him into the turnbuckle. We get a nice back body drop and then back elbow smashes block. But then Cash kicks Dean in the gut and then sends him into the ropes and then hits him with basically the kitchen sink while he's talking smack. Cash with the control here, follow up headbutts, and then we get a nice sunset flip, though, by the Captain for a 2 count. As he blocks the boot from Cash and we get some forearm shivers, we get a abdominal stretch to slow things down after the compromised midsection from earlier. Dean follows up, though, with a nice hip toss into the clothesline, some hot offense to try and get back into this thing, reverses out of the Irish whip, and then drops him with a DDT. And then he pops up back on his feet like a him on prom night. And Cash follows up, hammering down the back on Dean's neck, working the shoulders, the back, the neck area, as he looks to drive his knee into the midsection again to knock the wind out of him. Cash is throwing bombs, but Dean finally connects with the deal. He strikes the deal and picks up the win. So again, at ease, soldier. Captain Sean Dean, good to see him back in singles action, and he also, of course, will be involved in the new era of Honor. Looks like he has a tag team partner now. They have a name, so nice to see finally some character development and identity for the captain here, and good fight back from underneath, especially with the compromised ribs area, where definitely his breathing was out of question. As we move on from there, it was women's action as the only baddie, Layla Gray, took on Sahara 7. And more so as a baddie, you don't really show what you do. You talk about what you are. But Layla Gray is nobody to just, walk over. Early condable tie-up as a 7 backs Gray into the corner, but the referee calls for a clean break. Intimidation tactics aside, after a big boot was dodged, there was a kick to the midsection of Gray, and then follows up the knee lift and a net breaker. But Layla Gray was able to bounce back after pulling on the hair. Always women gotta go for the freaking hair. Good grief. And we follow up from there, hits her with a forearm smash, and kisses her. Okay, that's bizarre. That's a thing. Whatever. Layla Gray then nails Savannah. Excuse me. Sahara Sema with a nice pump kick for a 2 count. Hey, Jay Cargo does a very good pump kick too. And then follows up with a ground and pound attack, reminding everybody that she is that baddie to that bitch. As this keeps moving forward, get a nice hip check and then spinning face plant followed up with a rising knee strike, keeping the offense going and going. It's a nice exhibition showing for Layla Gray. Pretty much what this came down to. Followed up with a running bulldog for a 2 count. Thought she had there was not enough. Then applies the rear chin lock. As Seven tries to fight back, attacking the midsection. She looks for a clothesline, but that gets dodged, but then follows up with a forearm smash. But then she fights her way out of a fireman's carry and was able to apply a Cobra clutch to make Sahara 7 tap out in a modified triangle choke. Good transition there. Nice technical side here. Went from the Cobra clutch and then grounded her down. Trapped the arm, trapped the head in between the legs, triangle choke. Layla Gray wins. So this baddie is actually effective. Emmy's business. I'm glad to see that. And Layla Gray, she's finding her way in AEW. I need to see more of her, what she is capable of, though. But hey, if you're going to be with Jay Cargill, you represent her, you got to pick up wins. So good for her. So 5-figure employment's safe for now. As we move on from there, it was Willie Mack taking on Joe Keys. And this was a fun little match as we get a ankle pick and then drops down to the canvas. A little bit of moxie being shown by each. A nice head scissors takeover by Willie Mack, who then kicks him in the face. But then he ducks a clothesline, followed by a running knee strike as he's perched in top turnbuckle. Just a straight right hand and a slingshot spear by Willie Mack. And then Keys is basically throwing his fists into Mac's face, but then whips him across the ring, drives his knee into the midsection. Again, the midsection, that's how you slow down a person's momentum, no matter how big, how small, how fast they are. That's one way to just knock the wind out of anybody. Follows up with the half and hatch suplex for a 2 count. Keys nearly basically locked the win in here. Wasn't meant to be, though. As this match continued, we get a nice running lariat by Keys that dropped Mac, and then he looks for the diving headbutt, but Max gets out of the way. Follows up with a beautiful exploder suplex and running forearm smash, and then the diving back senton splash. Good combination for Mac for only a 2 count. And then he kicks, a little bit of a receipt, Keys in the gut, but then a stunner attempt was denied as he fights out of the fireman's carry. Some stiff elbow strikes, but then a pop-up forearm, and then finally Willie Mack hits the stunner, by God, and then pulls off the 6-star frog splash to pick up the win. So again, Willie Mack, he's one of those athletes that continues to impress us. He's definitely become a bit of a showcase since his matches with Brian Cage, particularly on All Elite Wrestling Rampage. So it's good to see him getting more work, and we'll see if this means that maybe he can be on our television screens on Dynamite or Rampage again, somewhere in the near future. But this was a good match for what it was. And again, Keys, he thought he had the plan in place. It just was not his time. As we move on from there, time to take care of business. Shane Taylor promotion style. As the former Ring of Honor television champion, Shane Taylor took on Adrian Alanis. Cleveland represent, Ohio represent. Got him on top of the early going, all the jaw jacking aside, because that's what freaking Shane Taylor does. And then we get a flurry of body shots, but then Taylor reverses out of an Irish whip from Alanis, who then ducks a couple of clotheslines and then gets dropped down from the canvas. And then hits a shoulder tackle, followed by a gut punch in the corner. Taylor then slaps Alanis right in the chest, followed by big, mean Beal. And a corner clothesline. Keeping the aggression going, stomps the left foot of Taylor, though. Alanis fights back, and then Alanis hits chop forearm combination. Leaping knee smash. I mean, Taylor asked Alanis to bring it. Taylor then headbutts Alanis, and then follows up with a pop-up Uranagi slam and a running splash for a 2 count. We continue from there as Alanis slips out of Taylor's shoulders. I'm pretty sure I knew what he was looking for here. But then he was able to fight back, kicking him straight in the face, hits a nice spine buster, and then follows up with a sharp knee strike. I thought his lights were out right then. Overkill Shane Taylor. Followed up with the running elbow and hitting the package pile driver to pick up the win. Shane Taylor, he is mean, he is effective, and he is a guy that will jaw jack you all night. Good effort, Adrian Alanis. Not much more to say there. I think Adrian Alanis is still in a tag team with Liam Gray, the Skulk, I think, but I'm not fully sure. Anyway, as we go from there, it is Lee Moriarty, representing, of course, the firm, bringing Tiger Style against Very Morales. And again, Tiger Style, everything you expect, airplay ukulele aside. Carnival tie-up, waist-lock exchange, followed up by a hammerlock, nice shoulder tackle, some stiff overhead chops, and then gets whipped across the ring as Morales fights back with a head scissors takeover, but Moriarty uses the ropes to his advantage and catches him with basically a spinning back kick. Follows up with a nice Mongolian chop. Great Toll Khan, gimmick infringement, all hail. Morales then fights back, reversing out of an Irish whip from Moriarty, who then launches him over the top rope, and then a shoulder block. Then slams left shoulder of Moriarty on the top rope as he follows up with a diving double foot stomp off the ring apron. Ouch. But Moriarty is able to fight back and apply a hammerlock, a double wrist lock, basically. We move on from there, and as this match continues, ground and pound action, Moriarty kicks the Morales in the face, and then basically it's just lining him up. Short arm reversal, though, and then a drop arm drag, and we go from there for a 2 count with a nice bridge after the back suplex. Moriarty then Grace finds the lace of Morales, I have M's here, and then applies the bow and arrow stretch, but then is basically continuing his joint manipulation, at one point biting his opponent's fingers. I didn't know Lee Moriarty was a fan of finger food. And then goes for a hammer lock, but Morales follows up with some stiff chops, and then basically kicks him right in the back to bring him back down to the mat. As Moriarty keeps him down there, belly to back suplex denied, but lands on his feet, and then blocks the O'Connell rope for the attempt to roll up victory, but Morales was able to duck a clothesline and then was able to drop him with a spinning DDT. Still not enough for the 3. Looking to finish him off with a frog splash, Moriarty dodged it and hits his own diving leg lariat to pick up the win. The firm pays dividends once again on its own with who they have signed. Again, Tiger Style, it's one of those unique styles that basically hybrids technical wrestling, catch wrestling, and a bit of a strong style. But when he can manipulate his opponent and bring him down to the mat and find his spot, he could also fly too. So good win for Lee Moriarty. Again, I saw this guy get his contract when he took on Daniel Garcia one-on-one on an AEW Dark Elevation. He's been nothing but a showcase ever since. Moving on from there, this match was interesting as Arjun Singh took on Blake Lee. I believe he's still a prospect of QT Marshall. Again, Condell will tie up. The formula that seems to start most matches nowadays, especially on Dark. In the early going, and then Singh uppercuts Blake here, and then follows up with continued offense. There's a misfired hip toss, though, and he drives his knee into the midsection. Double leg takedown as he takes him off to the canvas. Then Singh dumps Blake face first on the top turnbuckle pad and basically continues the onslaught offense in the corner and then hits him straight in the face with a mean kick. As he basically kicks him back in the turnbuckles for a 2 count. He then whips him across the ring and goes for a power slam, but Blake finally does something here and basically gets a 1 count after holding on to the ropes for a roll-up. And then he drops him with a back elbow smash, but then he gets power slammed and then dodges a variation of a V-trigger. Singh, however, launches him over the top rope as Blake does a clothesline, goes for a running forearm smash, but then uppercuts him out of mid-air And this Arjun Singh guy, which I don't know much about, but might be a force to be dealt with, hits his own variation of a rising, furious velocity knee strike, bang, a V trigger of sorts, and picks up the win. Lights out for Blake Lee. So yeah, this right here, we learn a bit of what Arjun Singh could be about. Makes me wonder if he's going to be influenced by the likes of Satnam Singh, or is there a connection there? Or if Sanjay Dutt may be watching this guy or have influence over him. Either way, good single showing for Arjun Singh here as he picks up the win against Blake Lee. Not much more to say here. As we move on from there, it was Sky Blue. Sky Blue, of course, has always been one of my favorites to see rise in AEW. She took on a very aggressive and loud, sorry, my chord's a bit messed up, Dream Girl Ellie. Again, Ellie at first looking for a bit of cold honor here, didn't get it, refuses to shake Sky Blue's hand, and then slaps her in the face. You effed up. Ellie, though, continuing the offense, whips her across the ring, kicks her in the gut, and then Sky Blue follows up with a basement drop kick for a nice 2 count in the early going. Looking for a roundhouse kick, Ellie blocks it and catches her with a German suplex and then screams at her. I don't know if she was having herself or if she was trying to be Sky Blue's nightmare. A different sort of dream, to say the least. As this continues moving forward, nice running drop kick into the ropes for a 2 count and then slams her head on the top turnbuckle pad, continuing to keep on the offense. Drives her shoulder into the midsection of Sky Blue, followed by a snapmare takeover and then a falling lariat for a 2 count. Ellie continued.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you're fine, dude.
What matches did I miss after this one?
Arjun Singh, I think's debut against Blake Lee. Lee Moriarty showing Tiger Style against Mary Morales. Okay, and Shane Taylor still mean out Cleveland against Adrian Alanis. And Willie Mack, good showing against Joe Keys.
I liked Willie Mack, probably the best out of all that. Okay, yeah.
And Captain Sean Dean taking on Victus Cash.
Okay.
So, pretty much, the biggest thing out of those right there, Willie Mack continues to impress Layla Gray. She's really adopting to this baddie attitude, but I liked how technical she was in her win in the end. And Sean Dean had a pretty good showing against Victus Cash as we now talk about Dream Girl Ellie, which was more of a trying to be a nightmare scene for Sky Blue, especially with the screaming. Good grief. It's like I was watching someone out of Psycho. But I liked her aggressiveness here. And again, Dream Girl Ellie hasn't been on here for a while. I like what she brought here quite to a degree. Constantly keeping on Sky Blue down. But Sky Blue follows up with a rising knee strike after a spinning Isaguri. The way that she just flips herself around and catches them on the rebound. Shades of Shinsuke Nakamura a little bit. I like that, even though it seems a little slower. Following up from there, we get a full Nelson. But then Ellie slaps Blue straight in the chest and then hits her with a knee lift. Damn. And then Sky Girl Ellie with misdirection drop kick for another 2 count. Couple of nice near falls here by Dream Girl Ellie, who continues to yell not only at Sky Blue, but at the referee. Until she was told to shut up with a Chuck Taylor super kick by Sky Blue, who then hits her with the Sky Fall to pick up the victory.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory, really. I think it was just a nice showcase for the new girl. I already forget her name. But the blonde one.
Dream Girl Ellie.
Yeah. Dream Girl, right? Dream Girl Ellie. And Sky Blue.
It's not her first time on Dark, but I think she's brought some different side of her since we last saw her, to say the least.
Yeah, she became a very full of herself, I see. But yeah, that was good. It was a good matchup.
Yeah, I like what she brought.
Yeah, I just hope we see more Sky Blue in the title picture at some point because she's really good. I just don't know where you would fit her. Maybe Ring of Honor would probably be the best fit. That's a good thing that we have Ring of Honor because you actually have places for these women to go now, as well as, I mean, you already had the Forbidden Door, but it's really good now that Tony has 2 different shows, both apparently going to be 2 hours, one going to be without commercials in Ring of Honor, where you can actually put talent on. So it's going to be really good, I think.
Yeah, and the fact he doesn't have to worry about advertising, networks, cues, and all this type of stuff, it's not like a talent's going to be sold short either. And the first episode of Ring of Honor personified that. But we'll talk more about that later. Good stuff for Sky Blue as we continue to see her rise to the occasion and shine in and out of AEW. Speaking of shining and talking about flying, good Lord Almighty, this 8-man tag might take a little bit to break down. Top Flight, AR Fox, and Matt Sydal took on the Trust Busters. And good Lord Almighty, I could have just had this match on Dark in the opener and I would have had enough. Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, so literally these four, it was like I was looking at four airplanes flying off the same runway at the same time. Quadruple drop kick in the very beginning, and then Darius uppercuts Davari, and then we continue to finally settle things down. Davari, though, he slams Darius head first to the top turnbuckle, and as action continues moving forward, we look for a rapid kiss missile, but Darius thankfully avoided that. All right, Davari starting off the early going, of course, for his funds, the Trustbusters. Darius able to block the head scissors takeover, slides underneath Sonny Kiss's legs. That just sounds weird based on just exercise, but anyway.
Right.
Darius rolls up Sonny Kiss, though, rolls him up for a 1 count. Still not enough. And then we get a nice sunset flip by Sonny Kiss for a 1 count, and then a bit of an exchange. And then a backslide cover by Darius for a 2 count. And then Darius gets dropped with a jawbreaker, and then the Trust Butler, VSK, is tagged in. I like the fact that everybody got a chance to showcase here.
Yeah, the Trustbusters, I should say also, like, they got a really good amount of shine. They got great amount of time to shine also. So like they're definitely gelling well as a faction, even though it's a weird faction. So.
Well, sometimes you put stuff in on paper and see what happens, see if it sticks, and then other times you see what happens with something that just happens. As VSK got a little bit of offense in to show us what he's capable of, there was a nice double Irish whip, and then AR Fox finally comes into play. AR Fox is so damn incredible. Ducks a clothesline for VSK, follows with a single leg drop kick, applies a wrist lock, and then Dante tags himself in. Quick tags, finally bringing them to their side of the ring as Dante shows us what he's capable of. Nice belly to back suplex, but VSK lands on his feet, and then thrust kicks him in the midsection, and then a nice pump knee lift, and then follows up with forearm smash, whips Dante across the ring to the Trustbusters corner. Dante with 2 arm drags, though. VSK tugs on Dante's hair, and then Seidel makes the blind tag unaware of him. Dante leapfrogs with VSK. We got a backflip, and then a double drop kick to Seidel. VSK tags in Slim, not Slim Shady, Slim J. Seidel follows up, though, and basically a callback with Seidel and Slim here. Again, sleeper match from Dark, I think, literally a week ago. Standing on Mariposa for a 2 count, though, by Seidel, and then Seidel tags in Darius. As things continue to escalate from here, we get VSK with a back elbow smash, decked by Darius. Then Davari kicks Darius in the face. Then Davari with a net breaker on the ropes. Trustbusters once again getting control, gang up on Darius as VSK drives Darius back first into the steel barricade. I like these barricades. And then he gets face first in the steel ring post. And again, all hell's breaking loose. Everybody's flying and just ground and pound action. The referee's lost all control here. Davari, Taz, and VSK. And we get some heavy body shots. Nice standing frog splash by VSK for a 1 count. And then following this, there's double suplex cross-body combination for a 2 count. Straight right hand by Slim. Slim applies the front face lock, tags in Davari. Davari punches Darius in the back and gets a knife edge chop in with a snapmare takeover. And this feint just continues right now with Darius being worked over until AR Fox finally comes into play. And then also VSK is tagged in after Darius hits a step up in Siguri after avoiding the hammerlock lariat. AR Fox, difference maker. 2 clotheslines, leaping back elbow smash, followed by rolling snapmare takeover and a cutter, double toe kick, though, however, double Irish whip. Everybody just going 2 for 2 here. Chuck Worley special. And then following this, Sonny Kiss comes into play, but then Fox kicks Kiss in the gut, and then Fox falls out with a step at Siguri. Roll through, cutter to Sonny Kiss in the ropes, and then kicks Slim in the chest, sweeps out the legs with Slim. AR Fox, one-man wrecking crew. Roll through, twisting, brainbuster, but then Davari just Fox up from the outside and then gets super kick for his troubles. And BSK nearly gets the win with a Michinoku driver.
That was
2.5.
Really shocked by that. That was going to be a near fall, to be fair.
Yeah, by BSK of all people.
Yeah, right.
Then a simultaneous. Then we get tags to Slim as Top Flight runs interference, stereo drop kicks. Darius has got the most work put in this match and got the most punishment in this match. No doubt about that. Meanwhile, Fox tugs in Seidel after a Manhattan drop, and then Seidel with a Meteora for a 2 count. But then Sonny Kiss comes in with a step up in Siguri, and then we get standing Spanish fly, all the aerial acrobatics you could think of, until we get a super kick by Davari to Darius. Then AR Fox falls up with a pump kick. Jesus. Got freaking offense on the ground and up above. Go figure. Then VSK kicks the middle rope into basically AR Fox's orbits. And then VSK follows up with a pump knee strike. but then blocks a pump kick. Seidel with running forearm smash. Dante clothesline VSK to the floor, but then Slim hits the springboard reverse DDT. Another near fall for the Trust Busters. Good freaking grief. Seidel finally goes for the lightning spiral, but that gets countered after Sonny Kiss hits a low blow behind the Red's back, and then Slim uses VSK for leverage. They nearly steal it here for a 2 count. Not enough. As Seidel continues fighting back out of the fireman's carry position, Taz and Dante. Dante shoves Kiss into Slim. There's a little bit of miscommunication. Release German suplex. Stereo Saitos, though, to the outside, cued by Matt Seidel. As AR Fox comes in with a springboard German Slim, but Dante comes in finally with the nosedive to pick up the freaking win. Jesus!
Yeah, this is a great match. It's a great 8-man tag. I was really surprised by it, but really good. Really good stuff all around.
Yeah, and again, the Trust Busters, each one of them got to show what they were getting. But more so particularly, we saw again, Slim J, while he wears a visor upside down, he actually is pretty capable in that damn ring. And it's about time that VSK got to show what he's capable of too, besides just serving drinks as the Trust Butler. And again, both men nearly got the win for the Trust Busters, particularly.
Yeah, they're the shining stars of that whole thing. I think definitely, when it comes down to it, the Trustbusters ROH and the actual varsity athletes group, with Ari Daivari included, on AEW. I think that's a good little balance there. I think there's, Sonny, it's been a while since I've seen Sonny work in the ring, but after seeing Sonny work here, you forget how good they are. I really want to see that group now work on, AEW, definitely for the 6-man tag over in Ring of Honor. I think they'd be perfect for it now. I don't think you could, granted, you're probably going to get, a more David and Goliath type feel if they go up against the Gates of Agony, but still, definitely worth trying to do something there. So, yeah, man, great matchup. They showed a lot here, and I definitely want to see more of them down the line as we watch Ring of Honor and AEW as time goes on.
Yeah, you see a Matt Seidel becomes a mentorship role for Top Flight and AR Fox at this point, because good grief almighty, that was awesome. This was what it was. Our next match featuring the arena, of course. I love the new arena. Triple J, Jeff Jarrett, and Jay Lethal with the 7-foot anomaly, Satnam Singh. They took on Jackson Drake, Jay Malachi, and Oliver Sawyer. Nice to see Oliver Sawyer back again. In trios action. And Jeff Jarrett starts things off immediately before the bell rings, attacking Oliver Sawyer. Go figure. And finally, with the bell rings, Jarrett continues assaulting Sawyer across the ring, back body drop, and then tags in Lethal, who kicks Sawyer in the gut, and then gets a net breaker for a 1 count. As Lethal basically controls him for the going, Lethal drives his knee into the midsection of Malachi, who tags himself in. Maybe not the wisest strategy. Slides underneath Lethal's legs, though, and then catches him with a knife-edge chop, and then Lethal answers back with a knee lift, short arm reversal led by Malachi. Malachi, good stuff here, until he tried drop-kicking Singh, and then Singh swatted Malachi out of midair like a fly.
Yeah.
And then showed us that he used to play in the NBA, dribbling the guy in the center of the ring, and then launches him out of the ring. Good Lord. As Lethal lands the suicide dive, followed with running forearm smash, Jarrett does his strut. Oh, God, that's so annoying. And I'm going to stand by that. And then Singh tags in Jarrett, so he's legal now, as he makes Malachi pass out to the figure 4 leg lock, and Jay Lethal runs laps. So, again, Satnam Singh, nice try taking him off his feet, Malachi. You were foolish, but brave. And Triple J continues moving forward with momentum.
Yeah, I will say, as far as this goes, the match was what it was. We knew it was going to be a squash, and it was last minute build up for their tag
This
match.
was a squash, period. This was a squash, period.
I will say, with all that said, Ring of Honor set looks nice. Is this in Universal Studios?
I don't know, actually. It looks like maybe another wing or something. I have to look it up.
I feel like this would be where the old Impact Zone was. Because from the looks of it, they got the little stands and everything. The crowd was bigger on this shot because they had the smaller crowd on the other shot. I'm looking forward to seeing if this is the shot we're going to be getting for Ring of Honor Dark going forward, or is it going to be a combination thing where they use the first studio and then the other studio going forward. Who knows? But for me, man, I liked it. I really liked how the set looked and how the crowd was just very lively.
Yes, love the aesthetics. Love the fact you see all the people, but it's definitely a much more lively, animated audience. And overall, it felt like a mini wrestling show. I would definitely go to it.
I would go to it too. Yeah, if I'm visiting Universal and that happens to be in my area, you bet your ass I'm going. I'm definitely going there.
Yeah, we'll split the ticket. Meanwhile, again, the set was pretty. Speaking of pretty, next match. How the 3-piece sack band get in the new arena, though? I'm just saying. Good grief. Pretty Peter Avalon took on Pretty Peter Avalon. Seriously, how they get the freaking guys on the plane all the time? They always have the 3-piece sax band. Anyway, Pretty Peter Avalon. I wonder if they're related to the singer that did Smooth Operator. Sorry. Getting distracted. Pretty Peter Avalon took on Dean Alexander, and this was, I'm not going to lie, I thought Dean Alexander was actually going to get the win here. Boy, was I wrong. Avalon with a couple of shots, chop block, but Dean Alexander then grabs the bottom rope, which forces the break after Avalon applies a single leg crab. You heard me right. And then we literally see Dean Alexander drop Avalon with a back elbow smash and kicks him in the face. Oh, Lord. And then sidesteps Avalon to the turnbuckles and then follows up with 2 clotheslines, whips him across the ring, back body drop. Scores 2 right shots, but Avalon ducks a clothesline and then hits a step up enziguri. Thrust kicks the left knee of Alexander, bringing him down to his level, drops him with a DDT, and connects with the Martinis to pick up the victory.
Yeah, man. I mean, what more can you say about this match and then the promo afterwards?
I'm not saying anything else. All I'm going to say is this. The fact that Norm Burnham has been able to develop this identity and create something for himself and others in All Elite Wrestling that goes to your testament that you found your spot in the industry. Good for you. Oh, good grief. All right.
The crowd was into this, too, for some reason, by the way. I don't know why.
I mean, it's Pretty Peter Avalon. If you're not into the sax music, you're into the antics of Pretty Peter Avalon because he's one of those wrestlers that just makes you laugh, I feel like. But I feel there is some self-respect for him there just because of his independent work. Same thing with Leva Bates. And again, respect your librarians. All right. I'm sorry, that was funny. And then it was time for our special main event from the Ring of Honor set. This was a banger. As Freshly Squeezed, Orange Cassidy, and Danhausen, they took on the Workhorsemen, J.D. Drake and Anthony Henry. And again, major pop because Danhausen. Very nice, very evil. Orange Cassidy and Anthony Henry kick things off here with waist lock takedown, and then we get a front face lock, and then there's a grappling exchange as he mocks. Look, don't mock Orange Cassidy. If you have not been watching AEW, start watching it. You'll know why. That's all I gotta say. As Cassidy applies the wrist lock takeover, but then he gets whipped across the ring, and we get some arm drags, and as this continues moving forward, we get a rolling crucifix for a 2 count. Out of nowhere, as Cassidy does a PK and is basically, at this point, playing mind games, as he always does, with his opposition, in this case, Anthony Henry. And then Danhausen and J.D. Drake are respectively tagged as Danhausen looks for a test of strength. Well, he's 300 pounds. I'm not going into that nonsense, okay? Sorry, I can't. Even if he wears a muumuu. And he was not wearing one here. Danhausen continues to stomp the left foot of Drake, though. You'll know why. And then he falls over a body slam, but Drake blocks it. Wow, shocking. And meanwhile, goes for a couple knife edge chops. Then Danhausen, he was getting mad. He was going to launch a curve. No. As Danhausen runs around the ring and trips Jake in the middle of the turnbuckle. And then Danhausen tags in Cassidy, and things pick up at least half speed. Follow up by this, we get double Irish whip as Cassidy lines up to go into the corner as Danhausen does his own forever clothesline variations like Rocker Romero. And instead, we get the pockets finally engaged. Orange Cassidy went up from gear 1/2 to gear 2. Lazy kicks in the corner, but then a couple of clotheslines duck. Cassidy connects with a hesitant takeover, rolls underneath a clothesline from Henry, and drop kicks him and pops up back on his feet like nothing. The anomaly of the industry that is Freshly Squeezed Orange Cassidy. as JD Drake poses for the crowd after a blistering chop. And then Cassidy continues getting chopped by JD Drake. There's a tag to Anthony Henry, and the Workhorsemen basically maintain control for the most part here, literally bringing him back inside the ring, couple running boots, some heavy body shots, quick tags galore, then an octopus stretch by Anthony Henry, but Cassidy able to reverse out with a nice Irish whip. And then JD Drake makes a blind tag, Irish whip again, back and forth. There's a shoulder block, big boot, side rush, and the leg sweep combination for a 2 count. Workhorsemen nearly put away the All-Atlantic champion and Danhausen. Meanwhile, Cassidy avoids a Vader bomb by JD Drake. That's a big dude doing that. Taz into Henry. Henry, though, tosses Cassidy around the ring. Cassidy kicks Henry in the face and then finally dives over Henry. And, folks, I kid you not, Danhausen now tagged in. Danhausen with a couple of clotheslines, Northern Lights suplex, running uppercut, and follows up with a knee lift from the apron. Nice shoulder block, standing switch exchange, still not enough, and then finally hits an elevated DDT for a 2 count. As JD Drake basically blocks out the attempted chokeslam. Danhausen, very, very optimistic. Meanwhile, Cassidy's caught out of midair, and then we get a nice roundhouse kick to Danhausen. And following that, nice rebound sledge. Good grief. I talked about hammering earlier. Maybe this was hammer time. JD Drake then hits the Shining Wizard after Anthony Henry tagged in, following German suplex, and the Workhorsemen nearly got it again with a 2 count, still not enough. Followed by a twisting butterfly, a suplex, flying double stop again for a 2 count. The Workhorsemen doing the work, but not enough work for the 3. Against Danhausen, I kind of couldn't believe it. Meanwhile, Henry with some mid kicks, blocks the GTS attempt, and then a windmill kick, and then Cassidy finally comes in with a spinning DDT, and then dodges the Shining Wizard of JD Drake, and JD Drake, he avoids the orange punch. So, again, these guys, they knew each other's offense. Good for them. And then JD Drake blasts Orange Cassidy off the apron. Good Lord. And then JD Drake decks Danhausen with a back elbow smash. Follows up by catching Cassidy out midair, but Cassidy with the stun dog millionaire. Incredible transition. And then Danhausen follows up with a release German suplex as Orange Cassidy finally hits the orange punch. And Danhausen hits the GTS. And Danhausen and Orange Cassidy connect with a double choke slam. Finally, to pick up the win. This was a really fun main event. The Workhorsemen look very strong here, but again, Danhausen and Orange Cassidy, what a unique dynamic that we're seeing for the first time ever in tag team action.
I'll never question Danhausen's ability in the ring again. I will never question that again. Between what he showed here and what he showed at Revolution, I will never question what he could do and what he can't do in that ring. I'm just gonna shut my mouth going forward. He did so good here. He was the star of the show. Yeah, man, he is really good, man. Like, I hope we see more Danhausen. I know he had a little stint in Ring of Honor, so I don't know if they're gonna do something with him in Ring of Honor, or if they're gonna, maybe have him fight for something, maybe something cool. We'll see what happens, but I definitely would love to see Danhausen more on TV in like actual competitive matches, because judging by what I've seen here, he can go. He can go. So yes, good on him, man. Good on him.
And a good showing again for the Workhorsemen. Again, we've been very impressed with these two ever sinse they came together on this moniker. And
bro, I've been impressed with them. I've been impressed with them since the DPW show, bro. I've been impressed with them since then. So there you go.
They can give the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions a run for their money. Can you imagine the Workhorsemen versus the Briscoes? That would have been a killer bout. All right, but anyway. And yeah, that was AEW Dark. So now we're going to go ahead and change the sub-changes here as we look back briefly at AEW Dynamite, go home to AEW Revolution. Yes. Of course, emanating from California in the famous Cow Palace in San Francisco. And our first bout was freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy taking on Big Bill. I had to say it like that because I know how I feel about that name. Again, how do you take down a 7-foot guy? You can't teach that? Well, apparently you can figure it out because Orange Cassidy was able to. And for what it was big man antics. Big Bill, he could not be taken off his feet, and he basically used that leverage against Orange Cassidy, who many a times tried to go for the orange punch, but it was blocked. But also, outside shenanigans ensued with the constant distractions of Stokely Halfley until Danhausen came out to try and stop him, and at one point nearly cursed Big Bill, and then Big Bill almost chokeslammed him into oblivion.
Yeah.
But that wasn't meant to be. And meanwhile, the curse didn't happen, and instead Stokely got a bit of revenge at one point using that very cast to knock Danhausen's lights out for a moment. Speaking of knocking out someone's lights out, good grief. That friggin' slam through the table nearly got the 10 count there for Big Bill. I wasn't sure if that's how it changed hands on count out. Maybe it does. I don't know. But anyway, it was not meant to be. And following this, as we move forward, Orange Cassidy, he looks like bruised fruit, literally.
Yeah.
Almost like Big Bill was trying to scrape him off the mat at some points.
Yeah.
After being caught in a full Nelson. Somehow Orange Cassidy still stayed in this thing. And then he looked for that big boot. A big boot from Big Bill. It just writes itself, right?
Right.
But Cassidy just basically takes a seat in the center of the ring. JY approves probably.
Yeah,
twice. By the way, twice.
For the record, so they continue going because we don't want to like break down everything spot for spot because they don't need if we have a watch party of it. But
no. Well, I mean, like I said, the biggest thing here is again, how long did it take for Orange Cassidy to finally hit the freaking orange punch? And it didn't take one; it took two. He literally chopped the big man down to his knees, and he dropped the man down on the mat for the satellite DDT after Danhausen looked to curse Stokely, but it just didn't happen. Either way, crazy sky high. That was the key moment here. Sky high orange punch because Big Bill was still on his feet. Finally dropped the big man for the 3.
Yeah, it was really
shown
good.
by Big Bill.
It was good.
Yeah.
That was a cool little David and Goliath spot. I just don't know why you're doing Big Bill versus Orange Cassidy for this belt. I don't know why. Can we get some like international flair for this, please?
I mean, eventually.
Isn't that the whole point of this belt?
Because again, yeah, but to be fair, again, 20 straight wins, dude. Orange Cassidy, he has faced people in and out of AEW, even Ring of Honor for that matter. So I mean, you gotta find the balance there. But yeah, Cal Palace, Jeff Cobb, just saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe something to come, or Ishii, Tomohiro Ishii. I want to see Tomohiro Ishii versus Orange Cassidy. I think that would be very interesting.
That would be
anyway.
very interesting. Yes.
Meanwhile, everyone got to sing their favorite song from Kansas, and then lights out, House of Black. Lights out, gone.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for Revolution.
There you go.
Subtle,
that was pretty much it.
Subtle, simple, go-home angle for this trios match where not much more needs to be said when you consider the caliber of capable athleticism and cohesion with these two trios.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay for what it was.
It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was short and simple. I will say, yeah, I don't know. Like it was just kind of nothing. I wish there was more build up to this. I wish they talked more other than the backstage promos. But hey, it is what it is now. We got there in the end.
Yep, and again, stay tuned for more on that. Again, all I'm gonna say is this: for a go home show that was a bit, you could have just made Dynamite 1 hour just because of this. That Face of the Revolution ladder match was all I needed to see in that entire 2-hour spectacle besides the last 5 minutes of the show. My God.
That was one of the craziest ladder match.
Commander.
Shout out Commander.
Commander, by the way.
Yeah.
If Ray Phoenix could walk the ropes.
Yeah, this motherfucker can give Ray Phoenix a run for his money. I'll tell you. Definitely have to see a match between those two. Yeah, man. Commander,
yep.
Sammy Guevara, Action Andretti all got their shit in. Really good big man spots from Powerhouse Hobbs also. Who else was in the match?
And Konosuke.
Yeah.
Who collided with the man on the friggin' entranceway.
Bro, that was dude. You gotta see our live reactions. Like us, even if we weren't going to break it down spot for spot, which we are, by the way, but we wouldn't be able to anyway. You would have to see this to believe what happened. At one point, I think Konosuke does a blue thunder bomb from a bridged ladder all the way from the top. It was the cleanest thing I've ever seen, and it looks fucking dangerous. But it was so cool.
I think Commander.
It was so cool.
I think Commander literally collapsed inside out on that. That was fucking ridiculous.
Dude, it was such a great fucking match. It was one of the best ladder matches. It was one of the best multi-man ladder matches I don't even know in how long. Like, it was really good. It was really good. And that was on television, bro. That was on free TV.
How many times, James, have we said that AEW sometimes feels like a pay-per-view?
Yeah.
This could have been your buy-in.
Yeah, man. This was great. Honestly, I wouldn't have even been mad if he made this the buy-in, because honestly, it would have been better than RJ said he. But no, I'm sorry. That's just being honest. But no, for real, awesome matchup. Will Hobbs eventually won, but yeah, go out of your way to watch everything from this match. This match ruled.
Yeah, that YouTube clip doesn't do this match justice, especially with the coast-to-coast walk across the ropes from Commando, wiping out the entire
He did that
field.
twice! Motherfucker did that twice!
Yes, he did. A.R. Fox, I'm pretty sure we learned the man's not made out of rubber when we thought that his chest cavity was collapsed on 2 occasions. Death-Defy driver on a ladder bridge, courtesy of Powerhouse Hobbs, and then a freaking shooting star press by Commander on A.R. Fox. Still on the ladder as he collapses to keep on the outside.
Yeah, like, there was so many good spots in this match. You guys got to watch it to believe it. It was really, really good. Last ladder match, multi-man ladder match I remember being this good was probably TakeOver New Orleans. Like, that's how long ago that was, honestly. And I'm talking about really memorable stuff. Like, and really clean stuff. Like, everything made sense to what happened. Like, and people actually, it felt like a struggle to get to the belt. So, yeah, really good stuff all around. Go check out this match when you can.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you talk about that. We talk about the Velveteen Dream, who did the rolling Death-Defy driver on the ladder to Ricochet and nearly lost his footing. Action Andretti tries his own damn Falcon Arrow from the ladder onto a ladder or bridge and nearly breaks his damn leg.
Dude.
That was scary. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and didn't frickin' Sammy land awkwardly on that too, but he was fine, so I let it pass, but it looked brutal. Like, it looked like he may have hurt himself bad on that. Oh my gosh!
And then I thought, Action Andretti was a non-factor thanks to Daniel Garcia's interference, which Sammy once again ascended like that crazy statue.
Bomb through that damn thing. Holy shit!
Through Action Andretti on a ladder as Daniel Garcia tries to push him in, and we think Konosuke is finally going to get the win here, but home turf boy, Powerhouse Hobbs from Oakland, got the win in the end as Konosuke looked on and was absolutely freaking devastated.
He was devastated. Oh, another good spot, too, was ladder bridge spot with Andretti. Andretti made, like, a little contraption because there was one ladder leaning between the ropes and one of the rungs. So he made, like, he made another ladder go up so he could climb it and then climb the other one so he could get to the other guy who was already at the ring. That was a really good spot. I like that.
And that was Konosuke. And that was Konosuke at one point, literally just the same like Son Benjamin springing forward, these two fighting for that damn ring.
Yeah.
Again, everybody shined here. This was absolutely insane. Perfect fitting spot fest in Storytown. Balance of agility and power and risk.
Yeah.
This was tremendous.
By the way, Ortiz and Eddie Kingston just fight, and then Eddie Kingston quits AEW, which I don't know if we ever even mentioned.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
We will talk about that. Eddie Kingston quits, quote unquote, AEW. Showed up on Ring of Honor this week, so there you go.
Yeah, spoiler alert: challenge Claudio Castagnoli for Ring of Honor World Championship. Come on, dog, let's do this. Anyway, yeah, that match, my God, that was incredible. Meanwhile, Chris Jericho, Judas defected, Codebreaker, Peter Avalon out of nowhere and got a quick win.
Yeah, that I will say I did give him a lot of props for looking way better because there was enough people that were there that didn't see him after the librarian gimmick and how different he looks now, so I had to give him props there. That said, why was this on Dynamite? Why did you put this on here?
He got 2 count. He got a couple of quick 2 counts in after a crossbody and a freaking swinging DDT.
Yeah, but it took a code breaker to beat him. That was it. And then, yeah, that was it. That was done.
Okay.
Move on.
Oh, gosh. Sorry. Ricky Starks gets assaulted by the other side ahead of time because, again, they're banned from ringside Sunday, but they're not banned now as Garcia, Hager, and Floyd the baseball bat attack its midsection and then gets dropped with a Judas effect. And that's your angle for that match.
Nice.
Okay. Yes, nice. Speaking of nice, was these promos, particularly from the Hangman, who says he will take Moxley's spot at the top of the food chain because you try to take everything from me. I don't have anything left to take. You tried to eliminate Evil Uno. You beat him within an inch of his life. You can't take my heart because you can't handle it. You try to take my career, but I'm still here. You try to take away the member of my family, but I remember my daughter now. There are two ways out of a Texas death match. You gotta live or die, and I ain't done living yet. Damn good stuff. I don't like violence, but I will become violent, more violent than you if I have to, if it means finally getting a decisive win over you. Good stuff by the Hangman, motivated to say the least, but he was also cautious and aware of what he basically put himself in. He called for this. He put himself into the situation, and honestly, he didn't know how he was going to interpret it or what he could become during it, beforehand. That's subtle, because that shows there is a sense of, I'm willing to take whatever risk I have to, hell or high water, to beat you.
Yes.
But I'm fearful of, can I do it, and what I'm going to have to do. Good stuff.
Yeah, really good. Obviously, we'll just put this in perspective. You will know what we thought of that match come soon. We'll obviously give like little tidbits towards the end of like what we thought, what our favorite things about Evolution or Revolution, what we liked, what we disliked, or whatever. Which, by the way, there was none. That's the thing. We'll spoil that now.
Just take out dislike. There was
not a single flaw. But we will talk about Revolution. Give our key points of what we like the most, I guess, and then go from there. But then we'll save it for the proper review. That said, though. Yeah, I mean, it was great promo. It was a really good comeback promo to what Moxley did in the stairway where he was bleeding profusely in that awesome CCW-like promo with Mox. Really good stuff, man. Really good stuff.
Yeah, remember he says, I live for this. I am an animal unlike anything else. Texas, again, go watch the promo. Okay? My words don't do it justice.
Yeah,
and out of the two promos between Moxley and Heyman, if I was to pick one I liked better, it was Moxley's. Period.
I love Moxley's, but this was really good too. Like, that's the thing. This is a really good promo. It didn't, because Moxley's was better, but Hangman was perfect. Like, it didn't need to be like Moxley's. It needed to be different, and it was the perfect amount of difference. He was calm. He knew what he was going to do. He knew what he had to do. And it was great.
He fought.
He knew.
Exactly.
Trust me. He knew what he had to do. We saw it. We saw it. We saw it. So that's all I'm gonna say. And
we did.
I'm looking forward to what's gonna happen afterwards. But yeah, it was really good. Really good promo by Hangman for sure. Good last minute hype for that match.
Yeah, it felt like for me when looking at this Dynamite, the promos were the star of the show, and then you had the match.
Shit! Hang on.
It was just promo.
Hang on, I don't mean to interrupt, but we actually have Owen in the chat. Owen just said in the chat he's at Raw, just saying hi at Raw. It rules. He's actually in the chat box. What's up, brother?
Good deal.
What's up,
Have
brother?
fun, man. I'm glad to hear. See you around soon, Talkinator. Speaking of Talkinators, Christian Cage has always been a Talkinator.
What a segue. You're a master.
Different animal. I try. As Renee Paquette was in the ring. I love Renee Paquette's style of choice, by the way, at AEW. She is flawless.
Bro, drip is all on point.
Yeah. Basically called Christian Cage to basically have an interview with her. And basically talked about how, again, Jungle Boy, he almost took you out with a concerto, and now you guys have reached a basically point of no return. And Jungle Boy, at this point, you want to end this thing, and you heard what Joe Boy say. What's your thoughts? And then Christian, first off, he chastises San Francisco. Couldn't wait to get out of there. Secondly, he talks about that he thought that he was done with him. He was ready to move on. And then he heard that Jungle Boy's desire is to win a singles championship. That's when he said, over my dead body, because I have to remind you that you don't belong in my business, kid, because what you do, like this millennial entire generation, you treat it like a video game. You're in there for the moment. You're in there for the pop. You're in there for the freaking post to go out to your family about you accomplished this, while I still treat this like an ATM, and I'm not done mooking it dry yet, because you're not a finisher. You don't have what it takes. Sure, you might want to go after a championship. You might be able to win against a champion, but do you actually have in you what it means to be a champion, to hold a championship? You don't have the grit. You don't have the killer instinct. You can't finish. You don't have what I have. I am one of a kind, but you are a dime a dozen. And as you continue chastising him and talking about how you are just that's a no-town hack with Hollywood good looks because of your father, Titantron, Jungle Boy, tear in the eye, flashback video, a shovel in hand. We ride away. There's a tombstone with a name, Christian Cage. What's your thoughts? He walks away.
And he cried a single tear. And, yeah, it was a buried alive match they teased, by the way. A buried alive style match.
As we learned what it was actually going to be on Rampage. Because at this point, AEW made it official that was no hold barred. Because he didn't want a match. He wanted a fight. But, speaking of fights, was this actually a fight? Or was this more just a distraction commodity act? Because get your chips and send Hook as the FTW Championship was on the line against Matt Hardy of the Firm with Oliver Page and Big Stoke at the corner.
Again.
After they accepted the challenge and says, I can beat you. And you know what? If Matt Hardy doesn't win, you could even have Stokely, Hook. You could even have him in no DQ. Hook won in quick fashion.
And
Stokely was terrified.
There's a couple things I want to get in. We know Hook wins. We're not even going to bother breaking down the match. However, I do want to point this out. I do want to
fade into a red rum. The end.
Pretty much, exactly. So, Matt lost despite the firm's best efforts. However, I do notice a couple things. I'm noticing that there's small things. It doesn't seem like Ethan Page is all too concerned about Stokely getting hurt. Right. Noticing that. I'm also noticing that Hardy tapped out right away. Right when he was locked in. Like, Hook barely had this fucking hold in. Like, he barely had this hold in.
Not even 2 seconds.
You're right.
Done.
So, I'm starting to notice that the Firm is getting buddy-buddy with Isaiah and Matt, and soon, when he comes back, Mark Quinn. Looks like they're really not for Stokely, and Stokely is getting tortured by these fuckers, and he doesn't even realize it. And so now he's like rocking back and forth because he don't know what to do. Now he's got to face Hook. Now he's saying he's not going to face Hook, but eventually he's going to have to face Hook. But yeah, it was hilarious. Just seeing him rock back and forth like a madman. That's all I really got to say, though. I'm noticing the little key details there that it doesn't look like Stokely's gonna be in the Firm for much longer here. I don't even know if the Firm will be called the Firm by the end of it. So,
and again, Hardy Party taking control of the Firm from the inside out is what I'm seeing.
Maybe they want a Hardy Party faction. You know, everybody loves Matt Hardy, and if Jeff comes back, I guess I don't know. But you know, Matt comes in, and then you got the other guys, and you know they're jamming out to the sun. It's actually a really fun gimmick, and I'm liking it. So there you go.
I mean, party time to load it just feels like it fits itself. Speaking of time, let's move into Tony time, as Tony Storm took on Rico one-on-one with Saraya in her corner. But not before we go backstage slowly and learn that Dr. Rebecca DMD and Jamie Hayter, the killer and the pillar, if Saraya tries to get involved, they'll be watching. This was a nice, short, simple match and callback, of course, 2 former AEW Women's Road Champions. Nice back and forth action until Saraya came into play. That caused Brigadier D and Jamie Hayter to make their way down the ringside. Some back and forth, Tiger Feint kick, Norman Light suplex, great majors escapes constantly by the ever tenacious. It's amazing what Riho is capable of at such a young age and such a petite size.
Yes.
Can't stress that enough.
Agreed.
Range shotgun dropkick eventually though by a Storm. Big hip attack in the corner, 2 count only. Then goes for the clover leaf, but then Britt goes on the apron, distracts her, and Rico gets the roll-up win from behind. Rico with the victory, stopping Tony Storm's momentum dead in its tracks.
Yes. It was really, really nice matchup. This is definitely a good little precursor to what is to come soon for the triple threat match at Revolution, and I liked how they had Tony do her thing. And nice little Joshi Pro style match. Really enjoyed it. Yes, please.
Say more of that.
And then
breakdown with Britt and Storm fighting on the outside. She was pissed.
Yes.
And then Hayter and Saraya face to face because again, the prize that's at stake Sunday at the pay-per-view. And then Ruby Soho's out here just to remind you all that she's coming for that prize too, but coming nowhere near that pull-apart brawl or that face-to-face. Stay tuned.
Yet.
Wink, wink. Meanwhile, Keith Lee is with Dustin Rhodes, who are now being called Naturally Limitless. And apparently they have challenged Mogul affiliates for Friday's Rampage.
There you
go.
We'll
see what that actually was like.
Now,
as I was finishing up, James was segueing into something that was anything but a brawl with some interesting stakes, considering there's one thing I did not mention earlier. Because backstage, Orange Cassidy defended once again successfully the AEW Athletic Championship against Big Bill and got his body racked around worse than a ragdoll. Jesus, through a table included. Best friends were not medically clear to compete, particularly Trent and Chuck. So Danhausen decided that we can find their behalf. I mean, he's the strongest, I'm the strongest, and we can bring more gold. Why not? And Orange Cassidy's like, I got more room in my backpack, whatever. So Danhausen and Orange Cassidy took the place of the best friends, still the best friends, in the casino tag team Battle Royal.
Now, real quick.
And this thing was crazy from the get-go.
It was a thing. I think the match was kind of a slog, I'm going to be honest. The team, I didn't realize how much sense it actually made the other two teams, but now that I actually saw it go down at the pay-per-view, I will retract my statement on the watch party. It made way more sense to have Danhausen and Orange Cassidy, especially when you consider who the fuck called them the ass boys in the first place. Kind of made sense for them to kind of get one up on them. So it actually made sense, and I didn't put two and two together until the pay-per-view, the day of the pay-per-view. And I'm like, all right, yeah, that makes sense. So that was the right decision, believe it or not. The match though to get there was such a fucking slog. Oh, it was a slog. Oh my god.
At least the opening bit made sense and concept was the most compelling with Dark Order and Blackpool Combat Club while we were waiting.
That was pretty good. But then fucking Mark Briscoe just taking out the varsity athletes for just because that was funny.
On behalf of the Lucha Brothers, let's put it out there. But of course, Lucha Brothers, they got eliminated by the varsity athlete shenanigans, and then Dark Order eliminates freaking Blackpool Combat Club. They're still fighting, and then you had Aussie Open, you had the Kingdom kicked Maria. Ooh, the Kingdom kicked Maria in the side of the head, both sides. Damn. Aussie Open, they got eliminated out of nowhere along with Top Flight. Yeah, like you said, it was a cluster bleep, but in the end, it was literally Danhausen and Orange Cassidy that got the win thanks to the distraction methods of Dark Order, costing Blackpool Combat Club, because that was the last two teams it came down to. Before I mentioned, of course, if it wasn't for the fact that it made sense story-wise thing, Bush and the Blade look very strong here. They were the last team freaking standing with Orange Cassidy and Danhausen until Danhausen came up behind and dumped both of them. Fuck.
Right.
And Danhausen and Orange Cassidy get the win.
Yeah, as I said, made sense. It was a slog to get there. That's really all I can say about it. There's really not more I can add to that. So there you go.
Triple J come in afterwards to try and jump them from behind, and meanwhile, the Acclaim come in for the save for third punishment is introduced, and that's that. That's your fatal four-way dance for the tag titles that we will talk about more in depth soon, but give you a bit of a relay coming up here shortly.
Yes.
As we go to, believe it or not, there was still time left in this show. Unbelievable, right? Renee Paquette back in the ring, and we were about to talk smack ahead of the 60-man Iron Man match as the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, came out to give his last message to Maxwell Jacob Friedman. But before he could directly speak about MJF regarding what Renee said about a tweet he sent out regarding why MJF started to become a professional wrestler in the first place, Bryan reminded us that one point he had to retire. And for 2 years, he fought against that because he couldn't imagine not being a professional wrestler, not fighting, not wrestling again. Subtly going along the lines of, if you fight for your dreams will fight for you. And then as MJF was about to say something, and Bryan Danielson shut him up completely, said that you have taken every shortcut possible to get where you are. You don't deserve to have that. You don't deserve where to be. The only thing you deserve is your fiance leaving.
Yeah, that was rough. I mean, you're not wrong, though.
Zero F's Bryan Danielson talking smack is back, folks, with Renee Paquette in the ring. Just saying. Pinning shoulders to mats and banging rats. Damn.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bryan also referred to the fact that he overcame head traumas, injuries, depression, life-threatening situations, the authority. And he had a job that would pay him his whole life. But he didn't simply want to sell for that. Because as he's done his entire life, he wanted to fucking fight. He wanted to fight for his dreams. And now the only dream he has on his mind now is to become the AEW World Champion. And if MJF is not ready to bring a stronger, if possible, fight than him, then Bryan Danielson, it doesn't matter if he has 60 minutes. He was going to make sure MJF's head was going to get fucking kicked in as MJF looked on in a sheer look of shock and fright and walked away. No words said. That's how you end Dynamite.
That was a great little last-minute hype for the pay-per-view. Really good stuff there. Good Dynamite. Again, if you want to see more of our in-depth, real-time thoughts, check it out on the iCard above. It'll be there. So there you go. Or, by the way, if you're on mobile, I always forget this, but mobile, it's different with iCards. If you want to know where our iCards are and you missed the little notification that it pops up on there, you can actually click the description box and it will show the iCards that I put in there. So just click the description and it will be all the way down at the bottom. So if you want to know what our thoughts are in the iCard above, if you're on a computer, down below in the description if you missed the iCard on mobile. There you go.
Very, very nice. Again, the freaking problem with live videos, they don't do end cards well either. You gotta go back into your studio and fix that nonsense.
Yeah, I'm so annoyed by that. That's the one thing they need to fix. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
It's still worth playing. It's still worth playing the outro, if nothing else, the theme and your graphics. That's why I still do it. But anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, let's go ahead. Yeah, well, like I said, the star of Dynamite was definitely the promos and the ladder match. And honestly, you didn't need nothing else. But the Joshi Pro is a nice thing. And as far as the opening, it was what it was. Big man shenanigans. But seriously, honestly, with what I actually got out of the show in context and worth watching, this could have been a Rampage for me.
Yeah.
But speaking of Rampage, let's go.
Speaking of which, yeah.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about that because this was a surprising four-way they set up, and I was like, this should have been the fucking tag team title match. Again, before the paper that we actually saw, I retract my statement. But this was a lot of fun. As Top Flight, the Dark Order, John Silver and Alex Reynolds, the Blackpool Combat Club's Carl Castaneda with Yuta, and Aussie Open kicked things off in a fatal four-way dance that was very fun, and I feel like a tale of two matches. I mean, Top Flight, yeah, Aussie Open, yeah, there's a similar contrasted styles with the contrasted styles, but I don't think necessarily they have any bad blood with each other, but they're also promising tag teams of this generation of wrestling. And then, of course, you have the Fallout.
We do have to say this real quick, by the way. This four-way tag match fucking ruled. That all teams shined here, man. They looked like $1 million here. Really good stuff from all 8 men. Like, really good shit all around. And notice
into
this. I didn't even notice this. New Japan team, 2 AEW teams, a Ring of Honor team. That's a big thing there. Big thing.
Do that because again, we know that AEW works for everybody. Ring of Honor, of course, has that substantial relationship with NJPW. So there you go. So I mean, again, teasers of Forbidden Door. I mean, who knows? Maybe more United Empire coming down the line. I'm still waiting to see Great the God. Oh hell. But again, that's not a here or there. It's of course the New Japan Cup's going on. Damn, I still need to watch the opening day. Anyway, yeah, this was a really a fun match. Some great dynamic back and forth action. Some near falls here, especially after the bottom rope assisted flatliner, rising knee strike combination by Aussie Open. Aussie Open looked like they were going to get the win here a couple of times. And then Dark Order and Blackpool Combat Club, they continued their hostilities. But key thing to look at here towards the end of the match was the Dark Order hit a pair of super kicks to Davis, and then of course they did their what I like to call perpetual tag team synergy with the rolling elbow, the stunner, the enziguri, the half and half suplex, not in that order, and then Yuta comes in, dumps both members of the Dark Order, and steals the pin, pinning one half of Aussie Open. So again, Blackpool Combat Club still violent, but also very smart and sound. Considering the Blackpool Combat Club had control in the early going. By the way, John Silver, Claudio Castagnoli, I need that singles match. That was a great way to kick this thing off. I'm just going to say that right now.
Yes, absolutely.
That just left me wanting so much more. For what this match was, I thought it was a little shorter than I'm used to on my openers, and I feel like all 4 teams could have given us more. But it did continue the storyline, particularly with the Blackpool Combat Club and the Dark Order, considering what we were going into Sunday. So, good stuff all around, like you said. I loved it.
Good stuff all around, yeah. Great opener, and then we move on from there.
As Jungle Boy says that he's going to give Christian a change to say hi to Jungle Boy's father as he looks to finally bury him and his past with a shovel in hand. And that is when we learned that officially, as Jungle Boy crescent it, this match was called the Final Burial. A casket match with a buried alive element.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. And now
I'll tell you that much.
Now I will say, spoiler alert, he does exactly that. Where does he go? Like what happens to Christian now? Is he gone? Is he just out of there? Is he just a trainer for AEW? Like that's the question I have.
I have no idea.
Is this like his swan song? Was to put over Jack Perry? It's an interesting question, you know?
It is.
So
I gave the range of the dates for the Tombstone. So, I mean, again, we'll go more in depth with that. But, yeah, slight spoilers for those that don't know. We watched the AEW pay-per-view. This being recorded at 10:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right now live on March 6th. But anyway.
Yeah. We'll be talking a little bit about it, but, yeah.
It's something to talk about. Anyway, you talk about Joshi Pro. We got 2 great Joshi Pros matches this week, as once again, this was a Full Gear 2019 rematch between teacher and student, as Emi Sakura took on Riho. And again, it was a fun back and forth affair. You saw how well these two knew each other. There was a nice inverted DDT and a crossbody in the corner, and nearly the drop kick to the knee by Emi Sakura with the freaking Maki Straw Cradle. Great counter wrestling towards the end. I thought she had her. I thought she got her win finally back, considering Riho defended the title against her, and Riho won. Riho was able to win again with a crucifix swinging around. Here's the thing that really surprised me. Riho was literally swinging her around, and I wasn't sure exactly what's going to happen here because there was the rising knee strike, and then Sakura, of course, goes for the moonsault but misses. The attempted crucifix, it seemed like. I did not think Riho was going to go for that. I thought she was going to go for a takeover Tijeras, and then maybe set up for the double stomp. I know she tried the double stomp earlier, but I'm just saying maybe go back to the well. No, she swung her around, she disoriented her, and then she just trapped her with basically a roll-up, a crucifix-esque pinning combination for the win.
Yeah, really good stuff.
Quick, sound, and simple.
Yeah. It was really good. I enjoyed the Emi Sakura. I do wish Emi Sakura won. Not that I am against Riho, but did you really need it? I feel like you would get a bit... Or did Emi Sakura already take on Toni Storm for the championship at one point? I think she did. Well, I don't remember.
Yes, she did.
Okay, yeah. So maybe... I don't know. I'm cool with... I'm cool with them just, if they're gonna do it, they might as well. But I would have gone with Emi Sakura in that, because Emi Sakura versus Jamie Hayter. Yes, please. There you go.
Yeah, we already had that. That wasn't even for the title. Oh my god.
Yeah, I want it for the title. I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, there you go. And now we move on from there, because
Yes, as we get another video package, talk about the women. Talk about the AEW Women's World Championship. A little bit of teasers ahead of Countdown. As, of course, we talk about Ruby Soho saying that she's coming back from a broken home. Never expected to be where she was. Again, she is the runaway, but also she's just Ruby. She's not picking a side, and we'll see if she can capitalize on that Sunday. But also, we also show where she truly relies. Meanwhile, let's hear it for the hardest working man in AEW Dark history. Get broken by Powerhouse Hobbs.
yeah, Serpentico got squashed. Next, he got destroyed.
God. Poor Serpentico. I feel bad for him. I really do.
Yeah, he was gone, away, gone. Spanish announced project. I got broken by Will Hobbs.
Why does Spanish Announced Project sound like the freaking theme for our TV show waiting to happen? My God.
It should be. I agree.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
Speaking of something maybe waiting to happen, is Konosuke maybe really going to go back to Japan, as we get a little bit of English from him, and Renee talks to him about he's had great moments, but he hasn't been able to win the big match. And he wonders that maybe he needs to go back to Japan. Of all people in this capacity, you, Don Callis, who's like, I saw what you did out there. I saw what you are trying to do. And I think you're capable of it. But, I mean, if you want to go to Japan, I'll ride you myself. But here, just take my card, think about it. Just let me work with you a little bit, because I know that you can get the big win. But let somebody help you. Why not an invisible hand?
Might as well.
Hand.
I love that.
Personally,
I think it would be cool for him to join the Elite. I think that would be a really good thing for him.
Very interesting dynamic, and now you're almost building a quadruple division. We talk about, Top Flight, Air Fox, Matt Sydal, Trustbusters, and then the Elite with Konosuke Takeshita.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I mean, it's something to figure about, but yeah, I mean, again, Takeshita has been the shining star that everybody loves to see. But we also, I feel, want to see him succeed. It does come a point where how many times do you enjoy the same thing without it maybe delivering on promise?
Yeah, true.
So, yeah, maybe this is the thing that Don Callis is the thing Konosuke Takeshita needs. And I know how wrong that sentence sounds based on Don Callis' track record. But it still is interesting to me.
It is. With that said, move on to the next one, because we're chucking along through this.
Well, I mean, we're not going to spend maybe even 2 minutes on match number 4, but we will spend a bit more time on this, because Mark Briscoe, you gotta freaking love Mark Briscoe and his energy. He says, "Hey, I'm here," and of course during the tag team battle royal, he was like, "The Lucha Brothers have my back, I had their back. The varsity athletes want to get up in all our business, but you know what? The thing is, though, I was actually here because I was like, Jay, it's tag team battle royal. Let's go to work." And I thought Jay was in the ring already. Oh, wait. Jay isn't here. He's not here anymore. He's upstairs with the Lord. And it's like, oh, my gosh. I don't know whether to laugh or cry, because, oh, my God, that was so good. And then it really just went full of one way for me when the Lucha Brothers came in. And it's like, okay, Jay's not here, but we're here. You're not alone anymore. And considering their history, they decided to come together as a trio and challenge the varsity athletes in a trios match. Cero Miedo, all the crazy redneck kung fu, and Zero Fear 2. I did not expect this dynamic to come out when Mark Briscoe became All Elite, James. But I'm kind of liking this.
I like this trio too. Keep it.
Just keep Mark Briscoe as the hype man, because God bless him. Oh,
yeah, he's really good.
All right. Well, speaking of stuff that was the opposite, we now move on to our AEW Rampage, Go Home, and AEW Revolution closer tag team match. For the first time ever, we see the dynamic of the Limitless One with a new look. Love it, by the way. Keith Lee with the natural. Dustin Rhodes. You couldn't ask for a more theatrical, charismatic, promo-esque duo than these two. I don't think it's just because they're fans of Star Wars. Just going to put that out there right now.
Although they are. Although we know they are. That's why they did it.
Yes. We're on TNT. I told you. Okay. Anyway, they took on local affiliates, Shane Strickland and Parker. All I'm gonna say is this.
I'll take over from here, good sir.
You know what? I'm just gonna give this match to you because it's time for the main event of Rampage. James, this is all you. Because we watched it.
Keith Lee was great. Dustin was great.
Yes.
Swerve was great.
Yes.
Parker Boudreaux was the shit. Holy shit! What was that big boot? He did it twice. He connected with the air, and they sold it like that. This dude was tagged in, and he did one move. I think it was like a clubbing shot to the back, and then he's just circling. He's like this. Like this. What do I do? What do I do? He couldn't even... and then Dustin had to do something, so he just punched him, and then he got the heat back, and he didn't capitalize on it. It was so bad. This is such a bad showcase for Parker. I don't think he's TV ready. I think you should let him maybe train in the Nightmare Factory for probably a lot longer than he was there. He's not ready. This was awful. It was so bad. There's nothing else you could say about it. The other three tried to work around this guy, but he was just not. Especially
when we finally had Swerve and Keith Lee. That's the singles match we need to see.
Yeah, honestly, it should have been Dustin Rhodes in the corner of Keith and Parker in the corner of Swerve. I think that was the better option.
That might be what happens next, because again, I mean, like you said, there was a freaking cannonball and a Big Bang Catastrophe. The end. 1, 2, 3. Shane Strickland was like, "Okay, I'm out of here."
Yeah, this match was the fucking shits, bro. He's worse than Ezekiel Jackson was in the round table. It was bad.
Damn.
It was so green. He's green as goose shit, bro. I got nothing I can really say positive about this. It just was a really bad look. I wouldn't put him on TV again. Yeah, I will say though, if you do put him on TV again, it will be funny. I'll laugh my ass off. I'm trying to do that boot, the jumping kick. That's all he hit. That was his only offensive move the whole time, and he did it 3 or 4 times. He did the kick.
What the air do to you, Parker Boudreaux?
Dude, he did it. He did the kick and he didn't even connect. It was like the shittiest bicycle kick you will ever see, bro. And why it was so bad, dude. It was like I can't explain it. You have to watch how bad it was.
I guarantee the YouTube clip does not show that.
No, Garen fucking teed they edited around that. That.
This was a live Rampage, by the way, so there was
no way to edit this. Yeah,
there was no way to edit this.
It was gone.
He was exposed. So
yeah,
God.
Parker, thanks for coming. Go back to Nightmare Factory for 5 more months, there, champ. Stick to just being a bodyguard. That's it. Let's move on to Dark on Saturday, because there's not more we can add to that hasn't already been said on the fucking watch party.
Absolutely. Oh, and Absolute Ricky Stars came out and bum rushed Chris Jericho from the announce table to pull apart bar to end the show.
Yeah. Yes.
Because I forgot we didn't have that match. Even though they did the whole rundown, and Jericho's like, "I'm gonna win." Well, again, we'll talk more about that later. All right, as we conclude this rundown of last week, we go into our extra little edition of AEW Dark, as they do on pay-per-views, with a Saturday night edition for matches that basically fed into, well, I would say at least a couple of the matches on the actual pay-per-view, and then maybe something else to come too. Our the first match we will talk about here, of course, was a tag team bout with the Acclaim and the Workhorsemen. This was actually pretty short for what it was, but again, when you are using competitors involved in the actual freaking matches on the pay-per-view, kind of got to protect them, right? But the way that he won, it wasn't the arrival and the mic drop. It was Sesame Timbers.
Yeah.
I've never seen that move used to win a match. You're kidding me, right? Sesame Timbers. JD Drake got his Timbers, Scissors, the Acclaim win. I don't have much more to say.
Well, to be fair, I mean, they never pinned anybody with it, so this would be the first time they ever did. So.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Sanjay Dutt's more realistic to pin than JD Drake with this. I'm just saying.
I know. They should have had Anthony Henry take the pin. I do agree with that.
Well, again. So we move on from there. This was fun because when was the last time you heard Aaron Solo's music, actually? Again, out of the San Francisco area. It was a homecoming. Aaron Solo had a good offense against Daniel Garcia thanks to the distraction antics or hype or whatever the hell you want to call it of Sammy Guevara. At one point, there was a distraction, but then Solo was driven into the steel ring steps, and Garcia was able to capitalize. But Solo was able to take advantage with the hanging on net breaker, and then nice roundhouse kick, and then came off the top rope with a foot stomp, and nearly got the win here, which would have really... Well, honestly, I don't know, because, again, the factory, I don't know the state of it, and the whole storyline being developed here clearly with the dynamic of Garcia and Guevara on, I feel like, shaky ground waiting to crumble underneath itself.
He was hugging Daniel on his T-shirt, and then it said Sammy Guevara, but not his name. What the fuck?
Well, actually, it did say his name in a sticky note.
It did. Oh, so they're pulling the Joseph Connors, Joe Hendry approach with this thing? Is that where they're going with this?
I think so, yes.
Oh no! Daniel Garcia's gonna turn crazy. He's gonna become Joseph Connors now.
Is he worthy? Is that the question we'll ask later on? Meanwhile, Daniel Garcia hits a face plant at the end of this match to put away Aaron Solo.
Yeah, there you go.
As we move on from there, Peter Avalon talked about how he faced Chris Jericho, would have had a better chance of winning if he was in the other part of California, beautiful LA. But instead of facing somebody from the West Coast, as he said he was going to beat up the next punk to come out after him, they sent Hook, who immediately put it into the Red Rum and tapped him out.
Yeah, did he ever.
Oh, Lord.
That was great. Yeah.
That was hilarious.
There's really not much else we could say there. So,
I mean, Peter Avalon, he got 2 matches in a single week. Good for him.
There you go.
Oh, God. But anyway, this one was a bit more entertaining. As the Firm, Matt Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, and Lee Moriarty took on the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr., Ray Phoenix, and Mark Briscoe. And I like the fact that Isaiah Cassidy, yeah, they're definitely baby faces. Isaiah Cassidy, Ray Phoenix, some mutual respect there. Roundhouse kick, though, literally before the bell rang, and then followed up with a drop kick because, again, the Lucha Brothers, they going crazy. They're nutting futz. And now they have Mark Briscoe with them. That just makes them even more nutting futz. And Mark Briscoe did his redneck kung fu once he was tagged in, but then falls with a high boot. Did the net breaker and then rocked Lee Moriarty's jaw. And then there was a breakdown, all 6 men literally laying everything freaking out until the Lucha Brothers came in and Cassidy with that crazy scream. Planted him with the Fear Factor to set him up for Mark Briscoe to hit the Froggy Bow for the 1, 2, 3. Then boy, still with a smile on his face, still holding the Briscoe name proud, still getting it done in the ring. This was a fun close, to say the least.
It was really good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the dichotomy between the Lucha Brothers and Mark Briscoe. I think it's really, I really do, man. It's really good. It's good. It's good synergy. I really enjoyed it. Is that did I use dichotomy wrong or something? I don't know. Did I use
dichotomy. I think that dichotomy, synergy. I think they both work.
Okay,
together.
yeah. No, they have really good.
Yeah,
they have good. They have a good chemistry there. So definitely.
There you go. Keyword.
I would definitely do this trio a lot more often because I think you could get something good with that. Now, that said, do you have one of them take the place of Jay Briscoe, or do you have FTR do it, or one of the members of FTR? Because now that's the real question for when we're coming up to Supercard of Honor, which is literally around the corner. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of wrestling. Oh boy.
I'm about to say, I mean, again, you want to talk about live wrestling. Like you said, March 31st, you got Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. March 30th, you got the Impact Wrestling NJPW Only the Strong Survive Super Show. And then, of course, April 1st, April 2nd, you got WrestleMania. April 1st, you got Stand Delivered. Then April 3rd, you got the Raw After Mania. And then, of course, April 7th, you got AEW Rampage and Battle of the Belts.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. All right, anyway.
Well, again, before all that, of course, we got Sacrifice coming up on March 24th. And before all that, we just got through our first dose of the big shot in professional wrestling and the launching pad of AEW's 2023 pay-per-view year, as we're going to go into a slight subtangent to close things out here, folks. But stay tuned. I will be, as I brought Simple Take back for WWE for the first time ever, stay tuned for Simple Takes for the AEW pay-per-views with me and James. Date to be determined. Whether or not they'll be live or record like I've been doing with the WWE Simple Takes, me and him are going to discuss in the production booth afterwards. But, James, again, we're doing this post-AEW Revolution. Why don't we just go ahead and give a quick Revolution relay, give some of our favorite moments, and a brief take of maybe, a top 3 matches. Because we had 9 matches total, 1 on the buy-in. And I will say this. The dynamic of the buy-in, changing it up where you have some action, but also more hype and kind of like an intro. RJ City and Renee Paquette, they did their jobs well, and I thought this actually was pretty fun to deal with. And the match itself got good time. And I enjoyed, again, Mark Briscoe and Lucha Bros, they got a thing going on. Varsity athletes with dynamic, like you said, Ari Davari, it definitely works for what it's worth. I thought this was probably one of the more structured, free-form buy-ins that people could literally buy into. Because it wasn't nonstop action, and video packages. It was a balance of video hype, card rundown, in-ring action, and literally AEW talent's takes.
I agree. I just RJ City is he's
weird dude.
He's weird. Yeah. he's
weird.
He's weird. I don't know about him. Chief. he's different.
Lord.
He's different.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
he's different. Okay,
so 3 matches from Revolution.
Yeah, go ahead and give maybe a quick take from 3 key matches that really stuck out to you, and based on what you pick, I'm going to do 3 different ones, and we'll leave everybody with that tonight as a teaser before our actual simple take of the pay-per-view. So go ahead.
I will give an honorable mention to Danhausen only because that 4-way match was way better than I thought it would be, and Danhausen showed way more than I ever thought he was capable of. Really good stuff from him. My 3 favorite matches, I think, it's got to be Jungle Boy Jack Perry versus Christian Cage in that Buried Alive. And then the next one would be Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page and that Texas Death Match. Really good shit there. And yeah, the Iron Man. I mean, come on. Iron Man match between MJF and Daniel Bryan Danielson, whatever you want to call him. Match of the year, match of the fucking decade. It was so good. It was perfect from start to finish. Honestly, that's the story of this pay-per-view. Great pay-per-view top to finish. Great stuff, honest to God. It was really good. And that match is my favorite match from that show. That Iron Man match made a legend out of MJF. And he's only 26 years old, and he just went an hour plus with the best technical wrestler in the last decade. So it was so good. It was so good. Sorry, but yeah, that's my thoughts.
Don't be sorry. Fair enough. And I'll leave you people with simple takeaway from these 3. Wardlow continues to show us more character development, but also more in-ring dynamics. I never thought, I'm not going to lie, again, the whole King of Television thing, it was a fun thing, but I feared that Wardlow, based on the way they restructured him or repackaged him and trying to push him up again, he made it personal. He had to win. I did not expect Wardlow to win via submission against the submission killer machine himself with his own hold. That was pretty impressive, to say the least. Wardlow proved to me that he's not just one-dimensional big man, now with personality. He can be technical, and he can actually put somebody to sleep.
Yes.
As far as another match goes, gotta give it to trios. Again, the dynamics with the Elite and the House of Black, it was literally point for point, move for move, despite the fact that so the Young Bucks, their high-flying antics, and Brody King and Buddy Matthews, they are grounded strikers, and Jesus Christ, did Buddy Matthews knock Nick Jackson's lights out. And also the tease of the dynamic of maybe finally getting Buddy Matthews versus Kenny Omega, or even what was really more of a story of this match, Kenny Omega versus Malachi Black.
Yes.
At one point.
That was such a good matchup, yes.
There's so much that could still come out from these 6 men, despite the fact, spoiler alert, folks. We have new AEW World Trios Champion. And by the way, Julia Hart, she completes this picture so damn well.
Yes.
I loved this match so much. And it truly could have gone either way. You could have had a freaking coin flip. This right here was as close to going either way in tag team synergy of a higher sort since the Young Bucks faced Kenny Omega and him and Rampage.
Yeah, and honestly,
Revolution of all places.
Yeah, honestly, and ironically enough, and I gotta say also, since you brought it up, I remember when we said you were in a pickle with the way they booked the Elite. You didn't want to have them lose it. I'd argue, now that everything is the way it is now, they protected them well here, man. They really did.
No kidding.
Sometimes, yes, the title reign could last a little bit too short, but sometimes you can't have it last too long either. And I think if the Elite won, it would have really hurt House of Black. Whereas if you had them look really good in defeat, but still lose in the end, which is exactly what happened, by the way, then everybody wins. And that's exactly what this match was, man. Everybody wins. When you can tell a story in that ring, everything else will follow suit later, and that's what this match proved here. And, yeah, right decision, ultimately, with what they did there.
Yep.
And then you have one more match, right?
Yeah, but I will also say this regarding the tag match. Don't piss off Aubrey Edwards, Jeff Jarrett.
That is fair.
That's all I gotta say about
That's
that. And speaking of women, respect Aubrey Edwards, by the way. Good sessions, by the way, with Renee Paquette. The Trios AEW Women's World Championship match. I love the dynamic here with Saraya, Jamie Hayter, and Ruby Soho. How it was still most of the time Saraya, Jamie Hayter continuing that hostility, that feud. Britt Baker, Dynamite DMD, and Toni Storm, of course, in respective corners. Soho, still on her own, still don't know if she's truly going to pick a side, was focused on the prize. This definitely was an interesting three-way dynamic. Could have gone any of the three women's way. There was definitely a unique spot where I thought that maybe Soho decided her side during this match, especially based on a bit of an impromptu interference assist that could have happened. And, of course, the way that came out, I thought was really neat with the fact that Saraya was an impromptu victim of the haterade, and Ruby Soho didn't get haterade. She basically got rolled up. And she was the one that basically, afterwards, probably was the biggest winner. Because now we know where Ruby Soho resides in the ecosystem.
That heel turn was so great. That was so great.
And the way that she played it off. This is our houses. We built this. And then, you're both down. There's the So Saraya, Toni Storm, Ruby Soho are a trio to be reckoned with now in AEW. You got to wonder who the third's going to be for Dynamite DMD and Jamie Hayter. The Killer, the Pillar. Could it be the Warrior? Could it be the first WWE Women's World Champion? Could it be somebody we're not even thinking about? Could it be somebody else from Saraya, Toni Storm, or Ruby Soho's past that's not even in AEW yet? Does Jamie Hayter and Dynamite DMD call it a favor? This sets up a whole different dynamic in the entire AEW women's division and even the title picture. I thoroughly enjoyed this match, and I love the fact that they had the time they did as well. So that's my free.
That was so good. That was so good that they did that, because now it really sets up what we've been pitching here on the show, which is they're going to do a female Blood and Guts, hopefully. And now the wheels are in motion now. You got Ruby Soho turning heel, and now you got her on the right side on this. And now you have Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. They need a person. Now you got Thunder Rosa, who's backstage. She's about to be cleared very soon, It could be as soon as this week for all we know, right? But who knows?
The fallout's still to come. Fallout's still to come.
So there is a lot that can happen between now and Blood and Guts. And I really think when Thunder Rosa comes back and the Jericho Appreciation Society gets involved with this and helps out with specifically the girls, helps out with their little takeover there, because what's more sports entertainers than joining in with the outsiders that are trying to hurt the women's division, right? There you go right there, man. That's your 5 on the heel side. Now you just got to find a way to get Willow Nightingale and Hikaru Shida on that side too, and there is your match. That's the perfect female Blood and Guts match if I've ever seen one, and that's gonna be huge for the women, man. I honestly would probably main event Blood and Guts with that match. Honestly, after Double or Nothing in a month's time, that's the match you go with for the main event of Dynamite. If you want to still do a main event for Rampage, for the men, do it there. We want to make Rampage matter. There you go, and then perfect week of wrestling there. But yeah, this is really good stuff, and I'm enjoying it. We're gonna get a 6-man tag team match at Double or Nothing at some point. That's definitely gonna be the build up there. So,
if not sooner, consider again.
Yeah,
the next bump of stop is Battle of the Belts, and of course that Rampage, and usually those two shows kind of feed into each other in a certain way. So we'll see. But as far as Blood and Guts at this point, the biggest thing going on right now in AEW as far as faction warfare is just the women. It honestly might only be a women's Blood and Guts this year, and I think would be special in its own right.
I agree.
And as far as it closing the show, that proves how far the AEW women's ecosystem has grown. Now, where it goes from here, we don't know, because again, we just ended the pay-per-view. But if you all want more takes, fantasy bookings, and in-depth discussion, stay tuned for our first All Elite Simple Take to come too, right here on this channel, Castle AG Studios, and my Simple brand as well. But I think for now, we will pull the plug on this edition of AEW Spark, as that concludes this last week in All Elite Wrestling. Again, nice balance, go home into the pay-per-view. That, again, was one of the most phenomenal shows, top to bottom, I've seen in my 31 years of professional wrestling. Top that shit as far as that main event goes, and we're probably going to spend at least an hour on that, so stay tuned. Hypothetically, or maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe I'm being realistic. We'll see. But I think we'll conclude this edition of AEW Spark for now, so thank you once again for tuning in for a experimental pilot of a first light discussion. Thank you, Raymond, for your take. Thank you, Dwayne, for your support. Again, please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, hit the thumbs up. And before we conclude, James, always a pleasure. This is fun. I'm looking forward, once we time production, when we do our actual first All Elite pay-per-view Simple Take. But in the meantime, where can people find you? What do you want to plug and promote?
Well, you guys could check out, as we've been promoting, our Dynamite watch party and our Rampage watch party for the Revolution Go Home Week. Go check those out as well. That will be on the iCard once this has been on demand for about a day or two. So go check that out. Check out Simply Predicting panels for AEW Revolution on Noah's channel. You could also check out our Revolution coverage by myself and Noah Foster, which we have gotten rave reviews on. So thank you for all the support on that, everybody. Really does mean a lot to the both of us. Really appreciate all of you there. Check out the retros on this channel for WWF WrestleMania 2000, WrestleMania 15, the first WrestleMania, Survivor Series 2002, New Year's Resolution 2005, and New Year's Resolution 2006. That is all in the live chat as we speak right now, and it will be on the live chat because for some reason that takes a while for it to load too on demand, but it will be in the live chat if it's not already in the iCards right here. So check that out. And last but certainly not least, check out WWE Aftershock from this week, which is covering all WWE content, featuring the host Owen Finch and his co-host Chris Dodge. Go check that out. And also, last but certainly not least, also, I almost forgot this, subscribe to Noah Foster. As he said, we will be doing a Simple Take for AEW Revolution in full, no interruptions, no other shows. We're going to give you our full thoughts right there. So there you go.
All right, simple enough. Thank you, my friend. Always a pleasure. If people want to know more about me, know this. For I am just a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! Despite my voice being hoarse, of course. But you can find me on the Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Foster1916 for all things wrestling. Shout out, of course, James, to our entire ATW family across the Twitter and other social media platforms too.
Oh, check out our ATW view as well, previewing Revolution and WrestleMania also. I almost forgot to mention that.
Yeah, Agent Chaos came into play as well, and so did the grandpa, as Casey Flynn called me. And that also resided across Open Mic Night, so if you haven't check that out as well, across Captain Studios, to say the least. But anyway, also, stay tuned, like I said. We're going to figure out time to upload our first ever All Elite Simple Take on the AEW Revolution pay-per-view, giving you more of our in-depth takeaways, take-ins, thoughts, moments of excitement for this incredible, phenomenal pay-per-view card too. Maybe some highlights from the scrum as well, because there were some interesting notes there, despite what we also talked about with MJF, because I do watch those as well. Also, stay tuned again for the continuation, always of predicting. The next one, of course, will be Impact Wrestling Sacrifice. Tentative Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on March 24th. Mere hours before we go across the Japanese Multiverse Media, across Kansas Studios and partners to commentate, discuss, and react to that very show as well. And then, of course, prepare for the week of madness in wrestling, WrestleMania week. Much more to come on that. Stay tuned for, of course, the wrestling. Yeah, exactly. Wrestling retro review. I will be part of the WrestleMania 25 discussion too. Also coming up here soon. Stay tuned for a soft pilot on my simple YouTube channel for what might become a Ring of Honor platform of discussion, the Honor Hub. It will be some point this weekend after I see the second episode of Ring of Honor. It will be the first one will be about the first 2 episodes in the new era of Ring of Honor. So stay tuned for more on that too. And as far as the rest of the week,
if that's on Thursday, maybe we can make it. Maybe we could call it Indie Hub. Maybe we can get some other indie promotions involved. Maybe New Japan Strong as well.
It depends on everything and time and stuff like that. We'll see how this thing goes.
Soft launch for now. Definitely soft launch for now, but
I try and keep everything balanced, simple. It's not like, muttered or overheated with everything, too. But I do get what you're saying, so maybe that is something to come. And if people want that, they can always suggest that, too. We're here for y'all to entertain and engage with you on our love and passion for wrestling. And also stay tuned for play-by-play watch-along coverage for NXT Roadblock on the Championship Multiverse Media and Casa D18 Studios. And that is literally tomorrow. And I feel like that's all for now, too. So, again, stay tuned for more stuff. But as always, I conclude, there are no winners, no losers, no betters, just fans with opinions for this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality, too. Treasure your families. Be a decent human being. And just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It's as simple as that. If I make that thing any longer, I might as well write a lexicon for it. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in for another edition of AEW Spark. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. Again, hit the bell notification goes live on demand on this channel or any of the partner channels. Hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up. Let's keep growing these YouTube communities together. Our passion, our coverage, our creativity is not laying up anytime soon. I assure you. As we pull the plug on this edition of AEW Spark, I leave with this as always. Make a positive impact in life. Have a good night. We are AEW and AEW Revolution. Thank you. That's professional wrestling, damn it, in the highest degree, and you know it.
Absolutely, and I couldn't say it any better myself. Stay tuned for the AEW Revolution review on a simple take. We'll see you guys then. Take care, everyone.
Podcast has concluded. Be sure to check out more group discussion as far as AEW content is concerned, and check out more content from For the Win Productions.